catching a reflection in the mirror of something standing in the corner of my room, watching me, observing me. Is it my imagination or insanity? A strange hum, a flash of light. I'm overcome, nothing but fright. Otherworldly beings taking me in the night. I'm an extraterrestrial hostage tonight. I wanna run, but I can't move. What do I do? What do I do? Where are they taking me? Where are they taking me? I'm an extraterrestrial hostage tonight. I wanna run, but I can't move. I don't feel real. I wake up in my bed. Was it just in my head? Looking at my hand, there's something there. Inside of me, I'm feeling oh so scared. Confusion and nasty fear. It wasn't just a nightmare. So loud, so bright, hypnotizing your figures lost in time. I'm tortured, surrounding me tonight. I'm an extraterrestrial hostage tonight. I wanna run, but I can't move. What do I do? What do I do? Where are they taking me? Where are they taking me? I'm an extraterrestrial hostage tonight. I wanna run, but I can't move. I don't feel real. I wake up in my bed. Was it just in my head? Where are they taking me? Others swelling in me. Where are they taking me? Anxiety rising. Was it just in my head? Paralyzing panic. Was it just in my head? I'm an extraterrestrial hostage tonight. I wanna run, but I can't move. What do I do? What do I do? Where are they taking me? Where are they taking me? I'm an extraterrestrial hostage tonight. I wanna run, but I can't move. I don't feel real. I wake up in my bed. Was it just in my head?
Seeking power over those that oppose me. Unspeakable crime, murder at midnight. A deal I made, a life I had to take. Someone I loved once held so tight. The screams will follow me. Cries of my ancestors said, go away. My operation, fasting in brain, shape-shifting. I feel the animal hiding inside me. I feel the change. I feel the change coming. We are one but not the same. This form I desire, innocent blood I will devour. Ancestors gathering round the dwelling. The spirit inhabiting, evil enveloping. The dancing graves in the night. The spirit occupying and transforming. Stolen heights, dark practices, my secret life. Feathered outers, mysticism intriguing. My operation, fasting this initiation. It's all part of the dark creation. My desires performing incantations. I walk in disguise. If I catch you, it's your demise. Shamanism, my religion, summoning spirits, manifesting myself and changing my flesh. A nightmare to behold. I'ma make you part of the fold. The skin of a man, the soul of a predator. The change is complete. This thing I become, my flesh has succumbed. My operation, fasting in brain, shape shifting. I feel the animal hiding inside me. I feel the change. I feel the change coming. We are one but not the same.
All right, folks. Welcome to Paranormal Roundtable. I'm your host. Still doing work, though. Got a lot of work to do. We were going to try to be on New Year's Eve. But New Year's Eve got really messed up because we had to work, and it was basically call after call after call, complaint after complaint after complaint. You know that when you're living in an apartment complex, you're gonna have neighbors, and they're like, there's really loud noises and a lot of bad stuff going on, and I'm like, yeah, they're called neighbors. But you know, whatever. Everybody wants to be a bunch of cowboys. So I would say New Year's Eve, Anthony. How many calls did we field? About a dozen.
Too many.
Another call now, huh?
Yeah, we got another one now.
Oh man, can't. It doesn't stop. Won't stop. Okay, just reading some of the comments here, getting settled in. So this is the first show of the new year. This will be the first show that we've done in the new year. And so one of the things that I wanted to do, and I wanted to bring back Fridays. Now, Fridays was never our big night. We can get a lot of people in on Sundays. Fridays, you know, maybe a few hundred, you know, but then people will watch the replay. It seems like Friday night, people are always doing something Friday night. So we were kind of apprehensive. We were like, you know, a lot of people don't watch, but they watch the replay, which may, I don't know, which may be better in some ways. I say that because, you know, the replay is where a lot of people can sit there and rewind and pay attention and fast forward and whatever. So whatever, you know, it might be better just to, you know, so if you watch the replay, but as long as you watch, that's all that we care about. We don't care that you watch it when you're in the live or whatever. The last live we did was it? What was the last live we did? Was it Christmas Day, or did we do another one after that?
No, I thought we did another one after that. Let me see.
It was the Sunday after Christmas. We did the 29th, right?
Yeah, that was when we talked about the vampires in Mexico.
Yeah. So on the 29th, we did a show, and we had 740 something people in the chat. So we did really well. And then we had we did another live on or we did another show on the New Year's Eve, which was a pre-record, and that one was about Petra, the Forbidden City.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a continuation. It was what Agnes did, who actually messaged me. I want to publicly say that I am, if I offended anyone, I'm sorry for that. Agnes was kind of, she didn't feel like she put her best foot forward when we talked, I guess. and she was apologizing to me. But it was kind of one of those things where someone apologizes and they wait for you to apologize.
Okay.
And I was just like, well, I accept your apology. Thank you for being cognizant and aware that you were the way you are.
Thanks for that. Well, take it easy.
She actually has a good sense of humor, though, because she was like, kind of waiting for me to apologize. And I knew what was going on, so I was just playing along. And I kind of I joked around with you. You know I did. And I was like, yeah, what I do? And she was like, well, you pointed out that I made mistakes and that I was a certain kind of person, whatever. And I said, yeah, I did. But I was just being honest. I thought it was irresponsible. I mean, if somebody tells you not to go, the locals tell you don't go to a certain place. And I told her, this is what I told her. I said, look, if it was me and you had the Bedouins telling you, you had the government telling you, you had the Israeli government, the Jordanian government, you had the Bedouins telling you, you had all these different people telling you. She even had a sheik tell her, do not go there at night, especially at that time when stuff was happening. And off she went. But you can't control people. You can't. And so that it, to me, is the lesson right there. Bottom line, people are going to do what they're going to do. They're going to say what they're going to say. And I personally don't have time to worry about it. I really don't. And so I am super busy. You know, we should have been on the air like an hour ago. You know, we were planning on doing it like 8, and we're like, let's push it to 9. But we live out on a ranch right now, and so we have animals. And so Anthony was feeding them, and I was paying people. Well, he was paying people, and then I was feeding them, and we were running around, you know, like doing all kinds of stuff. And I don't know. It takes a lot to be out there doing what we do and then trying to do the show on top of everything else. And now we're in town, and now we're going to have to go do the show and then catch up on the patrol. We have somebody that's going to be doing it for us, but they can only work so long. And it's a huge undertaking to sit here and do all the stuff we got to do. It takes a lot. It does. But I still managed to get up today early, and after working all night last night, and I still got up early before everybody else, and I still managed to talk on the phone and get the stuff that I need to get done. And the thanks I get, I walk outside, and one of my animals decided that they wanted to pee right in front of the door. And I had socks on. I usually take them off, and you know what it's like.
Oh,
to step.
God.
Yeah, it's horrible.
That's the worst.
It's so horrible.
I hate that feeling.
And I know which one it was because they're very well potty trained, but I think because she had been stuck in one of the rooms, and so she was let out and then didn't go out. So she did what she did. But for the most part, they're pretty good animals. They don't the inside animals, they don't poop or pee everywhere. They're pretty good. They behave, you know. But I was like on the phone, and I stepped, and I go, you know, and the person on the phone was like, excuse me? I was like, yeah, I just stepped in pee. It sucks. And they were like, oh, really? I said, yes. Anthony peed on the floor again while he was sleepwalking. He's a horrible person that does it.
It happens.
At first he was like, really? Like, I was like, no, not really. I want to apologize to KW. He's somebody who I was supposed to call today. I did not get to, obviously. I did not. And I want to publicly apologize to you because we were supposed to talk today. And dude, 4:00, no way. I couldn't make it. And then I pushed it back, and then I still couldn't make it. Paying bills and having to pay people. It was payday. Yesterday was payday, but we were trying to get it all done today, finishing it up. And you'd be surprised how many people don't give you their information to get paid. That shocks me. And, you know, I was on the phone with a credit card company today that was absolutely determined to not get paid. Mm-hmm. Anthony can attest to it. They tried to not let me pay them.
Yeah, so they could hit you with late fees.
Yeah, I was like, holy crap, dude, you don't want to get paid. They want me to send a copy of my ID, and I'm like, and then they don't have email. They want me to fax it.
You have to prostrate yourself for the privilege of giving them money.
Yeah, I was like, so I tried to cancel the card, and then they turned that into a big war. I was like, I just want to turn this card off because it sucks. And they were like, no, wow, yeah. And then they started offering me other things, and I was just like, dude, these people, I mean, it's crazy, dude. So we have 2 guests coming on. One is already here, and the other one is fashionably late, as always. So let me bring on my esteemed colleague. What's going on, my man? Let me put my headphones in so I can hear what you're saying. Yeah, I don't need you to repeat it. Enough of that noise. Quiet yourself, or I'll put the leeches on you again. Let's see here. Oh, that thing's hung up here.
Better late than never, brother.
If I pulled it out from my... You lay there. Anthony, move that for me. Yeah, that's what some people think. They think that I don't do anything. I'm just there. That's not the way it is, bro. Trust me. So, Chris, how is your New Year starting off? How are you doing? Can you hear me? I think you froze.
It's been great. Good to see you. Good to see you too, Anthony.
Yeah, good to see you.
Am I
Good
live?
to see you, Chris.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
We got you loud and clear.
Can you guys hear me okay?
I can hear
All
you.
right, great. Hey, Anthony, good
Yeah,
to
we
see
can hear
you,
you.
brother. Okay, great. Am
I
I
think
on
that might be a delay
lag?
or something.
Everything cool?
Do what?
Do I have a delay?
Yeah, there's a little bit of a delay there.
That's weird.
That-
Hang on, let me
that's
check
weird.
the thing.
I'll sit tight for a sec.
Yeah, I think we'll be okay. There's a little bit of a delay on your end, but I think we're going to be okay. So everybody
Great.
bracing themselves for the polar vortex that's coming. It's supposed to be down in the teens here in Texas for about a week. So that's lovely. That's wonderful. So I saw that your
Yeah.
Eagles spanked
I
the
was
holy
following
crap
you.
out of the Cowboys. I'm sure you're happy about that. Yeah.
I was
I don't
going
know.
to spare you the gloating.
Dude, I don't even care. I don't care. I'm on strike with the Cowboys until Jerry Jones is gone. I don't care. I hope they lose every game until he leaves. Because that's the only way to get the franchise back on track. Dude, ET has to go. ET needs to phone home.
I thought his son was going to finally take over.
Oh, like that's going to be different?
Yeah.
Maybe with his dad gone, he'll be like, okay, now I can be, because when you got ET looking over your shoulder, you're probably not going to be able to do anything.
I can't figure you guys out.
That guy's been old since like the 90s.
I watched this TikTok reel the other day. I watched this TikTok video the other day. It was Jerry was walking through Lincoln Stadium in Philly, and all the fans were saying, "Thank you, Jerry. Thank you so much. Keep doing what you're doing." It was great. He had to take it. I was laughing.
He's terrible, dude. He's awful. He's destroyed that franchise. And when you look at Al Davis's son over there with the Raiders, he's done the same thing. Little fat Chucky boy, who with his pumpkin pie haircut, he thinks that 20-year-old likes him for his smile. I'm like, somebody needs to quit lying to this guy. She doesn't like you for your smile. It's probably because you're a billionaire. That's probably what she likes, that she can get whatever she wants from you. And all she has to do is wait till you go to sleep, and she can go run around and drink and party with her friends. She's like, yeah, he's almost out. Yeah, I double dosed him with Ambien. Like, he's not getting up he's so fat, he can't even, let me see if he's still breathing. Shit. I got the life insurance policy, though. I'll own the Raiders soon. Don't worry. And he's all, she likes me for my small. Like, dude, yeah, sure she does. He's the Duke from
$1 billion. Hides a lot of sin, man. $1 billion covers a lot of stuff.
Absolutely does. You can be
get real
ugly
handsome real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got to be honest about the nature of your relationship. Like, look, you're just with me for my money, and I'm just with you for your looks. Now we get along.
Yeah, just be honest about it. Why?
This is a transactional relationship here.
It's built on transactions.
Yeah,
that's why I would never
like
want
Bill
to date
Belichick,
somebody
man.
that much
Same
younger than me.
thing.
Oh, dude, it's horrible. These older men and women. Now there are some women that actually genuinely like older guys, and there are some men that like they genuinely like older women. When I was younger, I would date older women, but the thing is, I was like, I need somebody closer to my age, okay, because they will understand me. I don't want some young girl who I got to babysit. I mean, that's just crazy crap. I don't understand that. And these people that do that, you're just like, come on, man, really? She likes me for my smile. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because it sure the hell isn't his Stay Puft.
How can you vibe with somebody that's that much younger than you?
No, dude, I just don't understand, man. You can't. But, like I said, there are situations where it does work, But I mean, for the most part, I just think it's more healthy if you're in your own age group. I mean,
Yeah.
like
you can't be sitting there doing taxes and paying your mortgage, and then like having to explain to her why it's bad for her tires to be bald.
Well, you're going to do that your whole life. That's not going to change. except for Nellie. She used to work on airplanes years ago.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
How can you vibe with somebody that hasn't had some degree of the same time and life experience that you have on a deeper level, man?
Yeah,
I don't
you're
think
right.
you can. It's eye candy, and it probably looks really great and might feel good for a while, but at the end of the day, I love my wife's younger than me by a year.
Yeah, well, my wife's like 3 years younger than me, or 2 years younger than me. Yeah, but if you if you
were
look
in high
at the
school at the same time, that counts, man.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the situation, though, I mean, eventually, when someone gets themselves together, typically they don't go beyond 10 years with someone. Because when they go beyond that 10 years, it seems like, it's my opinion, I don't know. It seems like it gets weird. I have a friend, she's with a guy who's like 14 years young, and it is not working. They try and try and try, and I'm not gonna say her name, but it is so ridiculous. I gave up even, I don't want to get drug into their madness, because he's still in I want to go hang out with my friends mode. And she's like, no, I want to be and I'm like, you knew this going into this. Like, what are you thinking? It's just ridiculous. Right. So, but back to the business at hand. Do what? What'd you say, Chris?
I said, you're just not on the same plane in life, man. You're not on the same plane in life.
Yeah. So I wanted to bring you on, and we have another person that's coming on too. And I'm sorry, I apologize. We were out at the ranch and we had a lot going on today. We just got such a late start. But I mean, it's Friday night and it's 9:30 where you're at. So, and we usually wait around about 300 in the chat. We start talking, but I wanted to get your take on something. And this is what this whole episode is about. Is because I know Bettina had mentioned that she wanted to talk about the drones, and I think that not just the drones, but there's a lot of other things going on in this. It's crazy. Like, okay, look at what just happened. You had an attack in New Orleans, and I say it was an attack because that's what it was. And this guy, he kills multiple people. And then we yesterday in Austin here, we had a shooting at the mall where my friends work. Several of my friends are business owners there. And that, it's so crazy. Then we had another lady try to run someone over in the HB parking lot. And my friend witnessed this. She got mad. And she didn't manage to, I'm sure she's going to be charged with attempted murder because she almost did. And there was a woman with a child, and she just managed to get the child out of the way. And we're like, this is the grocery store. And one of my friends witnessed this, and they were like, dude, this woman was crazy mad. She went outside and got in her SUV and then tried to run down the people that she was arguing with. And it was just unbelievable. One of our friends got shot on the job in Tampa Bay. Another one of our friends got stabbed in the hand on New Year's Eve. This is crazy stuff that's going on here. And I wonder if it's part of something that's bigger. Now, you had the thing in Las Vegas, and one of my friends was in Las Vegas. He's my mortgage broker. And he told me, it's buffering, but he told me that he goes, dude, it's crazy. There were police everywhere by his hotel because of I guess you call that an attack too. I don't know what this is that's going on. But I can say this: on New Year's Eve, we had about a dozen calls. Go ahead, Chris. What? Okay, so we had about.
I feel like I don't know when to talk because of this lag.
Yeah. Well, you could just don't say anything, just be there, and I'll just run my mouth like always, and people be like, "Look, see how he runs his mouth? He's such an evil guy. He's horrible." And then do your eyes like this so they can get a screenshot of you, so they can tell everybody, "Look, he's demon possessed by the devil." Blah, blah, blah.
I'm gonna see if I can.
Look at his guests; they're possessed by the devil.
I'm gonna try and change a setting on here and see if that fixes the lag.
Yeah, we'll see it.
But go ahead.
So we ended up with all these calls on New Year's Eve, and not one of them was for fireworks. They were all domestics. It was unbelievable. There was a lady.
I don't know what just happened there. It says I'm here, but nobody else. I'll ask the chat. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got it. We're trying to make it to where you can.
How's that? Better?
I don't know yet. We'll see what happens. I can't see you right now.
I can see you.
Okay, good.
I'm gonna try this one thing real quick.
And I can see the chat. Now I can't see you.
So it doesn't work? Well, we tried. So what ended up happening, there was a lady that called, and she had a problem with some people upstairs, and they were Venezuelan people. They are very loud, rowdy, and not all. There's a lot of Venezuelans there, but there's a small group of them that's very boisterous, if you will. They're not really disrespectful to us when we ask them whatever. They just do it, but sometimes they'll get a little mouthy. But this lady, she continued to come outside and like stare up at them, waiting for a response. And we were like, "Hey, don't do that," No, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. I'm like, okay. And then they began to drop things down, and she was like, "Oh, now they want to fight." And I'm like, "Do you have like an army with you? Because there's like 12 people up there, and it's just you." And so I was like, "Look, you don't want to fight. Okay, we don't want to fight." So we diffused the situation. We told them we were going to write them up, and it's actually a nice place, right, Anthony? I mean, it's a decent complex.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they pay good money to live there, these people. The thing is, though, this group right there, I don't know how many people live in that apartment. They're always out on the balcony, and it looks like there's about 12 to 15 of them, and they're always outside. And so I guess if you have 15 people in a 3-bedroom, you're going to be outside a lot because you got nowhere to sit, nowhere to talk, nowhere to be. And the lady downstairs just antagonizes them, and they antagonize her. But it's like after we tell her, "Hey, stop," proceeding to, stoke the flames. And that's what happens in life. And just in general, it just seems like a lot of people antagonizing people. And it was like happening everywhere we went. There was another complex, same thing. They just kept arguing. One of them said, "Well, they were out there firing fireworks earlier. Where were y'all?" I said, "We didn't start until, this time." And they were like, "Well, we need to start earlier." And I'm like, "Do you pay us? Because you're just a resident here." And then they went and told a bunch of lies to the apartment complex people. And I had to sit there and talk to them day before yesterday and tell them that's not true. That's not true at all. They were saying that they were being threatened by their neighbor and all this other crap. The neighbor didn't do anything. They went inside and they shut up. And I told them if anything else happens, call. When we went back through there, they were outside on the phone, and I was like, "Is everything okay?" They went like this. Next thing you know, they were literally verbally assaulted for hours through the wall. And we did nothing. We just, and in fact, we applauded them and cheered them on. We were like, "Yay!"
We're sitting there rooting.
"We're so glad that you're being verbally assaulted. Keep it up, guys." We were clapping. We were like, "Yay!" That's how they made it sound. And then they said, all they did was drive through and drink coffee. And I told the lady, I said, "I assure you, we didn't just drive through and drink coffee. We were out and we were trying to get them to stop. But it was the person that called that was being antagonistic. So it seemed like to us, they made the call and then they proceeded to be antagonistic after they pointed the finger. And it seems like it happens a lot. It happens a whole lot. Everybody that was there at the grocery store had said that woman, she was the antagonist. And then she went out and played victim and tried to run people over. And it's like, come on now. The police get there. Why are you arresting me? I have a whole story about how they did some bad things. And it's like, the police were like, no, because you literally are on camera trying to run people over. But they did a bunch of stuff. Where are your witnesses? God is my witness. Okay. You're going to go to jail.
Too bad he's not going to show up for your court.
Yeah, because God is not going to take your side when you're trying to run people over. And this is the kind of stuff that happens. One of our friends was doing security in San Antonio. He got stabbed right through the hand, and he sent a picture of his hand, and it was like, dude. And he's like, this is my New Year's Eve. And I said, yeah. And so he was working at the door at a bar, and some stuff broke out, right after midnight, and somebody pulled out a knife. Next thing you know, he's getting stabbed through the hand. Could have been worse. Like I told him, I said, there's always a silver lining. It could have been one of your vital organs. Mm-hmm. But somebody says, who is the bald guy? What bald guy? I don't know any bald guy. Who are you talking about? No, Kramer, Chris Kramer, guys. This is Chris Kramer. He's been on the show before. And Chris, so let me ask you this. We'll start now with this. What do you think is going on? What is it in the water? People say that there's fog that's messing with people. There's drones. I mean, what do you think is happening here? Is this part of the Matrix? Are we dealing with why is there such an uptick in the activity and in all the vileness that people are spewing out right now? Is there something that we need to know about? What do you think is going on?
That's a great question. I've been looking at some of these crazy things that have been happening. I think the weirdest one so far, obviously the drone stuff is really bizarre, and the fact that we're not getting straight answers from the Pentagon and things like that. And Tobe Johnson sent me a copy of the manifesto from the blown up Cybertruck guy, right? And that was really interesting to me because it didn't have the flavor of some, Louisiana inbred militia kook whose brother-in-law knows somebody who knows somebody and was, had insider information that was just, in Crackerville. I mean, it sounded really authentic to me, and, that some of the things where he was talking about the drones being technology that we have and the Chinese have that the public is not aware of. And in essence saying that, they're able to operate these things completely unhindered at will. They could land one of these things on the White House if they wanted to, and that's weird. I mean, that's bizarre. I think any of us that have paid attention in the last 18 months leading up to the change of the administration that's coming, and just like everything else, Josh, and this, you've been around this a long time. Whenever one of these, think back in the eclipse back in April of this past year, the biblical creationists come out of the woodwork licking their chops. All of the conspiracy theorists, and I'm a conspiracy theorist, come out, and all the prognosticators are dropping their insider information. And you know what? My own discernment tells me they're wrong 99.8% of the time. So the reality of it is I don't know. I feel like I thought that maybe whoever manipulates our political system was going to try and pull some misdirection, and things like the drone stuff could be part of that. But I just don't know. I can't really put my finger on it. I'd like to get through January 20th unscathed without any real craziness, but the craziness is happening right now. It's all around us. The weather stuff. I just saw this new phenomenon that I never heard about. It's something called the plaid shirt man or something. You ever heard of this guy? This thing?
Yeah, they've been talking.
Almost like a Men in Black. Yeah. Somebody just sent me that. I mean, and then the Sasquatch activity is as is through the roof, and some of the other cryptid stuff. It's all kind of like, I don't know. It seems to be ramping up, but I've been saying that for a couple of years too. So I don't know if it's just more people are paying attention to it right now. Really not sure. I've got some theories on it, but like to hear, yeah, the flannel man, Lawrence Morgan. That's right.
I knew my audience would pick up on it. They're gonna say it because they're a smart audience.
They're up to date on everything.
Yeah, they'll keep us, and you can't pull anything over on them. Yeah, somebody emailed me the other day, and they had this really goofy thing that they said, and they're a listener, so I'm not going to be too hard, but they were telling me that I needed to make sure that I was putting out the correct information, whatever. I said, believe me, if I'm wrong, there's a lot of people that listen to my show. They're going to blast me. I'm going to have somebody's going to be like, you said it was 336. It was 335.59. You know, they're going to get on your ass. And then they're over there typing. They're like, he's going to hate me for this. You know, I'm like, well, not really. I'm just going to go, okay, I stand corrected. I'm not always right 100%. And a lot of times it's theory and conjecture. I mean, you're postulating on theories. I mean, it's not all, you know, laid down like perfectly, you know. Cryptid Commission says the veil is thinning every day. I really think that too. I'm going to tell you what happened to me. This is weird. Now check this out, Chris. I was sitting at the computer on New Year's Day. Yeah, the veil. And so I have not seen or heard anything out at the ranch, but my cousins used to stay in the house that we stay in now, and they moved into the back area. They built a barn dominium. They have a barn dominium back there. It's really cool. And that's where a lot of the animals and stuff are. So they moved toward the back end of the 78 acres. And so I'm there and I'm on the computer and I'm typing. Now folks, you're going to laugh. Okay. I'm typing a book, which is not good for me because I'm like this. This is me typing a book, which is why I source it out to someone else that knows what the hell they're doing, because I'm like, I have horrible fingers. Okay. So I'm like trying to type some stuff to the person that's gonna actually type the stuff for me, and it's no secret that I have people that because I can't do it. It's mine, and I am. If anybody's worked with me, you know that I'm very I'm a control freak when it comes because I want it to be what I want it to be. Mm-hmm. So it's hard, and I can be hard on people who are working with me because I want it right. That's all, and I pay them. You know. So what I was doing was typing very slowly, and I was getting aggravated because I kept messing up. And the keyboard is I need a different keyboard. So I'm over there and I'm typing away the best I can. And I keep seeing something in the corner of my eye, like moving. And so I've heard a couple weird things since I've been out there at the ranch. My cousins swear up and down that it was haunted. Their kids swear up and down it was haunted. Now, my brother has heard and seen some weird stuff, and then now my wife has too, and then Scorpio, he came in and stayed out at the ranch for a few days. Now Tony hasn't because he hasn't been out there as much, and I don't know about you, Anthony. I haven't talked to you about it. Not yet. So it's been very limited what I've seen and heard, but multiple people have said this until New Year's Day. Now I was on the computer New Year's Day, and I was trying to send this person some stuff so that they could put it together for me, and I look over and I see something move like really quickly by the window. First I thought it was just like a black shape, like a large black shape, but the second time I saw it, it looked more humanoid. I saw a quick glimpse of it. The third time I look and I caught it like I caught it that time, and it looked like a large blob like humanoidal shape going by the window, and it was like walking back and forth. So when I walked out to the kitchen window and I'm standing there and everybody's asleep and it's early, and the dogs were growling and the cats were all sitting, you know, where they like to sit up on the perch up there above the cabinets. We have a neat little spot where they like to sit.
So this happened in the morning?
It happened in the morning.
Okay, so that kind of explains. Go ahead, but I'll add to it because that kind of explains something.
Okay, so I'm standing there, I'm looking out the window, and you can see like for a mile out on that one side. The other side's got a bunch of trees, and then there's a clearing, and then there's our cousin's place back there. Let me bring on our other guest here. Can you hear me, B? Are you there? Okay, so Bettina is a circle. Can you hear me,
That's
B?
a surprise to me.
I'm here.
How did I not know this?
Yes, I can hear you. I keep cutting this camera off.
There you go. Well, you know, everybody knows
I heard that,
B takes 2.5 hours to get ready, so she's got to be looking all like, you know, whatever.
Yeah, she made us wait and wait and wait and wait and wait for a very long time.
Oh my God, Josh, I'm so embarrassed.
It's all right. Hey, you look good. You're fine.
It took me a few minutes. I had some errands to run today.
I was gonna say you looked like Beyonce, but I don't want her coming after you and trying to unalive you. She'd be like, "Oh, you want to look like me?" You're like, "Hey, sorry. Nobody can be as good as you."
I'm serious. Like,
it's funny.
Look, that Illuminati stuff. Like they saying all kind of stuff about that right now.
She shows up wearing flannel.
We're talking about the flannel man, and he's like, "Oh yeah, hold my beer."
That
she shows up with the.
There she is.
Yeah. So
I fell in love with flannel. That's my.
You're kind of breaking up there, B. What's going on there? Yeah,
the
you guys.
Audio keeps going out though.
That's
y'all's Wi-Fi. Y'all keep cutting out.
It is yours.
Are you on Wi-Fi, Bettina?
Yeah,
Just
like y'all keep popping off the screen. Like his audio cut off a few minutes ago. It's not. Is it?
Whose audio cut off?
Let me refresh. Hold on.
Because you're like really like kind of slow on our end.
Yeah, you're running slow there.
But I mean, if you join on a Wi-Fi connection, that's a big part of the reason why like the connection isn't that great. Like live streaming on Wi-Fi is kind of like not ideal. You got to be hardwired into your modem.
And then we lost Bettina. So and Amy just said I can hear the guys. Bettina's is choppy. So I don't know. What do you suggest she does?
Well.
How'd you sneak her in on me without me knowing she was coming on?
Because I knew that you guys wanted to do a show, and I was like, you know what? I'd like to have them both on, and then we could talk about. And then if you guys wanted to do a show together later on, you could build off of what we discuss. You know, because there's so much to talk about.
She hit me up last week to do it, then we put it on hold.
So yeah, that's why cool. You guys got to come and you got to do it. You got to get together. I mean, because there's so much going on, and last year was so weird, man. So, so what happened was I was standing by the kitchen window and I was looking out the window, and I heard I could hear somebody walking, like I could hear it, physically hear it. And so I go out onto the patio on the back deck. We have a big deck on the back, and I'm standing there on the deck, and I hear footfall. Like somebody walking. So I go out and I walk around the house, and it sounded like somebody was behind me. And then when I turned around, I wouldn't see anybody. But then it wasn't really cold, you know, but it was like, man, it was cool. But then this cold breeze just kind of blew through me when I went out by the shed. And so then I just said, you know what, this is weird. So I come back inside, and then I just closed my laptop and said, you know what, I'm just going to go and back to the room. And I don't know what it was. Bettina says she'll be right back. I guess her Wi-Fi. But I don't know what it was. And so I just said, you know what? There's so much weird stuff going on. So one of my friends who had contacted me, he's living in Arizona, in Sedona. He's been out there for a while. And I met him through the show, but we've become really good friends. And his name's Kyle. And he reached out to me, and he says, look, his wife is she's a sweetheart. And she now talk about, I've told him this before, but his wife was a swimsuit model, and he's like, admittedly, he's like a 5.
Oh, okay.
but he's a funny guy. He's a funny guy. So, maybe she's attracted to his humor, whatever. But Kyle is like, hey, man, I got way above my pay grade, of course. And he's ex-military guy. He's a really nice guy. And so we started talking, and he says, my wife is extremely psychic. And so he says they're out in Sedona. And he said that he had witnessed something really bizarre on New Year's Eve. They were shooting fireworks off. And he said that they shot, one of those really big ones with the mortars, and it went up. And it just disappeared. Like it went poof. And then like when it got up to the sky, it was like there was a black cloud, and all of the fireworks you couldn't see them. And then all of a sudden the black cloud dispersed, and then you could see the stars again. but it was like, and it was really low hanging. He said, dude, you couldn't see through it. Like the mortars were going through it, but you couldn't see through the
Yeah, you
black.
couldn't see them explode through the through the black.
It was so bizarre. And then he said, by the time we got our phones out and tried to, but his wife had said the day before that she thought there was something really dark happening. And she predicted that there was going to be something bad around them. And so then they woke up the next day with flu-like symptoms, and they're still sick right now.
Mm.
And so his wife is Hispanic, but she thinks that maybe they were cursed. And so he asked me what I thought, and I told him I don't know. The other night when we were coming home from work, we went through some really heavy fog that seemed like it came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And the next day we all woke up feeling sick. And my wife was like, this is a phenomena that people are experiencing, but it only lasted for like a day. And we had like this general malaise, which is why we didn't do the show on New Year's Day. And I just felt the day after. I was going to do it the day after, and then I said, I don't feel good. And so I just said, to heck with it. But I think there is something going on. There's something that's happening, and I don't know what it is.
I live less than an hour. I live less than an hour from Sedona, and the last couple of months, Sedona has always been a hotspot for weirdness anyway. All the, the new age cultist people live there anyway, and then the all the vortex phenomenon that's been talked about there forever. It's what it's famous for, plus all the native history that's there. But the last couple of months, like even the drone stuff, my wife and I stepped out the front door the other night, New Year's that night, and there was one of these orbs, one of these drone things above my neighbor's house, and it just sat there. It wasn't. I mean, we have flight patterns that go over our house coming in and out of Phoenix or wherever. This was not that. I mean, it was just really strange, and then it just started to dip off and it kind of disappeared, but it sat there motionless, multiple lights on it, and we had a couple good pictures of it. And so we're seeing it here, it doesn't, and Sedona, I mean, there's always something going on up there,
Yeah, always. Sedona, we get a lot of weird stuff out of
all
there.
kinds of.
Chris, and I want to say hi to a couple people in the chat. Marquetta, I want to say hi. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for everybody like Joanne. I see you in there. All of our moderators, Elastic. I saw Jill Remensnyder show up. She's a really big person in the community now. I mean, they have that a Flash of Beauty, the Bigfoot reveal thing, really good. So, anyways, hi to everybody.
Awesome.
This weirdness that seems to be going on, like I'm going to tell you right now, we were going over cities. It was me and Anthony, my brother, and we were sitting there going over the different cities that we could do shows on. And we get a lot of input from my brother. He likes to talk about different stuff. He doesn't have the voice for it because his voice is, because years ago my brother was literally stabbed in the throat. So people don't know that, but it makes his voices. So he was telling me, he says, look, you should do a show about certain cities. And so we started talking about it. And Anthony, Sedona was one of the top, remember? Mm-hmm. Flagstaff and Sedona. Ruidoso, New Mexico. Those cities came up very prominently, Chris, because of all of the weird stuff that we get from those particular areas. And I can tell you right now, we have enough from each one of those to do a show. Like we did one on Las Vegas, but we did it was Prem and a few other places around it. We didn't really just stick to inside of Vegas, but we titled it Supernatural Sin City. We need to do different cities and just do the different shows. And for some reason, Tampa Bay has come up multiple times. We get cities that, Charlotte here lately. And then what's the one in Georgia? There's one in Georgia that keeps coming up. Savannah has come up multiple times. And so you got all these weird places, and it just seems like in New Orleans is just horrible. It's always something bad happening there all the time, and it just seems like it just keeps going and going. Another city that we've been getting called on lately, and I've gotten 3 stories in the last, I think, 4 weeks which is not quite a month, I'd say, but Tacoma, Washington. Like, I don't know why, but there was a UFO one, and then there was ghosts, and then there were Bigfoot, and then the ghost one, they had a sighting of a Bigfoot, but it was in Walla Walla, Washington. And so I thought that's interesting, but it was all pretty recent stuff. And I know that I could do an entire show on Sedona, and then there's another one, Albuquerque. Albuquerque, there's always people talking about reptilians. Like, I don't know if they have a hive there or what they're doing, but it just seems like they're always talking about it. Yeah, and so I don't know if Albuquerque if that's the deal. You know, Santa Fe is weird, a lot of ghost activity there. Southern California has been on the radar.
Ruidoso, that's a weird one.
Yeah, Ruidoso, because that whole area,
Ruidoso,
you know, Billy the Kid and his people rode through there. You know, there was a lot of weird stuff there. So
we were there last December, and
the Mountain Gods.
We were visiting with Jesus Payan.
Yeah, Jesus Payan.
Oh, yes, the End of the Mountain Gods. That's where we stayed.
The Mountain Gods. I won some money there. My brother and Scorpio lost their ass in that place. They walked out without their shirts, and they were actually scrubbing dishes. I'm joking, but I won. I won big, and I had a native guy there. It's a nice casino, dude, and we had a great time. Me and Anthony went through there one time, and Nellie stayed back at the hotel because she was tired.
Beautiful.
And we almost ran into a white stag, remember that, Anthony?
Yeah.
It jumped right in front of us. It was unbelievable. So here's B again. Let's see when she gets back.
Beautiful reservation, too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, stunning.
Yeah, I covered a Skinwalker report from that place. And then, you know, there was another guy who's a La Pan native, and he recommended the Mescalero, right? That's why we ended up out there. And he goes, I got a friend who's Mescalero. You need to talk to him. And they took us to the reservation, and we interviewed some people, and they took a liking to me. And so I got, until Scorpion tells him his grandmother's Comanche. And I was like, oh, you know, like, and the natives, you know, they had some serious problems with the Comanches. They were like, the guy at the counter was just kind of looking at me, and he was like, yeah, you're Comanche. I said, yeah, but that's ancient history. He goes, not really.
Yeah, they don't forget.
They don't forget. And he was like, you know, your people genocided my people. I said, genocided is putting it, you know, they fought. He goes, no, they tried. He's like, we're up in these mountains because they hunted us down, and we ended up in these mountains.
Oh, boys will be boys.
And I'm trying to play it off like, oh, well, you know, I was like, they did a lot of bad things. I admit it. I've said it before that they do a lot of bad things. They did a lot of bad things. I said they're bad. Other people are bad. But you know who's really bad? The Dutch. Let's focus on them. And the guy was like, no. And there goes my discount. Like, he literally took away my discount. And I told Scorpion, I said, why did you say that? See, Scorpion, people don't know this about Scorpion's half Navajo. Mm-hmm. He's half Navajo. And people don't know that. They don't know that about him. He's Navajo and Mexican. And so we were talking, and they were like, oh, cool. You know, you're a quarter native. I didn't tell them what kind. And then the Scorpion's half. And so we hit it off with them. But then the guy was just like, he swiped my card, and I looked down, and it was like the full price. And I was like, geez, yeah, it was a long time ago. And I wasn't the one that did it, you know? But I'm not going to be ashamed of, you know, whatever, because the Comanches, they did it to everybody. I mean, they really did. They did it to the Mexicans, to the white people, to the other natives. They were just very brutal people. They were very violent and aggressive. And I have that blood in me. I can't deny it. I can't say, hey, it's not there. It is. The Cossacks, I'm part Cossack too, and they did a bunch of crap too. And they're like, the Europeans, they were just like, dude, the Cossacks are horrible. You know, and then they come over here, they're like the Comanches, and they named them the Cossacks of the plains, and I end up with both blood. And you're like, okay. So your warlike nature comes, you know, naturally. But yeah, and so, yeah, there's Scorpion right there. There he is. And so, yeah, thank you for ruining my discount, Scorp. You just made me pay full price for the room. And then D was like, what happened? And I was like, well, your buddy here just told him stuff that you shouldn't have. I think, though, with the right person, maybe, because that person told me he was a historian, so he knew a lot about it. You know, maybe if we'd had somebody who didn't really know anything about it, they would have just been like, "Oh, cool."
Yeah.
Then they go home and they're like, "Hey, I met this guy. He's native," and then they're like, "Yeah, those people suck." But so Bettina, I'm going to bring her on. There she is. Bettina has turned into a ghost. She's a ghost. She's a spooky ghost. You can't see her.
Sorry about that. I had to.
There we go. Flannel shirt.
Quick.
There we go. Chanel.
Yes.
Is that
Flannel
Chanel?
girl.
I saw she had a birthday recently. How is she?
Yes,
girl.
she's wild. She did. She just
wilding
turned 2
out.
years old.
I remember when you first got her. I remember when your other one.
She's always wilding out.
You be on the phone with Bettina and all you hear is Chanel.
Yes, but do you remember how Chanel was always wild?
She was horrible.
She's wild. Have you not seen those videos I uploaded?
Yeah. I've been on the phone with you and you've been, she's chewing on
Chanel,
your feet and attacking you and whatever.
Wait.
Get her up on the screen there. So Chris, let me ask you this. So you're let's start with you on this
little
one.
Fatty right here.
There she is.
My Wi-Fi is acting up, y'all. I don't know. Like I'm with Fatty.
Yeah, it's.
Can you connect your laptop directly to your modem? Because that'll make a big difference.
I'm gonna probably have to do this on my phone, but if you think about it, like due to what we're talking about tonight, like anytime like I get on shows and we get ready to talk about certain stuff, like when I got off of here a few minutes ago, I had to like reconnect my Wi-Fi, maybe put in my password on the TV and the computer again. It's like, I don't know, like I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist, but it's just weird because I have a lot to say about this kind of stuff and it's just weird. But and I have 5G, but right now it's just acting crazy and it's not even working. So
you want to try and get on with your phone?
That, I may have to do it from my phone. This is crazy tonight. I don't have my original setup and all that because I had to get rid of everything like out of here. Am I slowing up again, or is it okay?
You're kind of breaking up.
You're kind of breaking up. I mean, if you want to do it on your phone, that's fine. Or you can hook up your computer directly to the modem, like Anthony said. That dog, man. You be on the phone with her, and that dog is just going nuts. Yeah. She's like, Chanel, bring back my sheets. What are you doing? Just imagine the dog running off.
That's happened to me 100 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, like mid-sentence, she just stop it. Chanel, sit. Chanel, come here.
Dog's wild, boy. Yeah. So, Anthony, you were going to say something, and then I have a question for Chris, but you were going to add something about the morning. What happened?
Oh, yeah. So, like, the reason it was significant that it, like, what you saw happen in the morning is because 2 days ago, whenever I was trying to get some sleep, I was woken up like at least 4 times. I mean, my sleep was broken up, and it was in the morning, because I go to sleep in the morning and until the afternoon, and like at least twice I was woken up to the dogs like growling, and of course I got aggravated with them because there was nothing to growl at. So I went back to sleep, but then the third time I got woken up, and it was because it sounded like someone like threw something on the side of the wall where I was sleeping, like on the outside.
Would this have been New Year's Day?
2 days ago? Yeah, I think so.
That's the morning that I kept hearing something.
Yeah, and that woke me up, and then I guess the dog started growling again at that. But now, like, I know that they're growling at something.
Yeah, there's something there.
And so everyone was asleep, and like, I don't know if it's someone out there like trying to, I don't know, mess with the house or whatever. So I grabbed my pistol and I went outside, and like it must have looked silly because I was practically out there in my underwear with a pistol. But I looked all around. There's nobody there. There's nothing.
Yeah, and that same morning when I went back into the bedroom, and I ended up like I had a text or email with one of the listeners that was trying to send me a story, and we were emailing back and forth, me and her, and then I had to stop and I went outside onto the front porch because I heard someone, like, it sounded like heavy, not boots, but like, footfall going up the deck onto the porch. And we have this big deck in the front of the house too. And I was like, what in the hell is going on here? And it happened until about 10 or 11 in the morning. And then I finished up what I was doing, and then I went back to sleep for about an hour, and then I had to get back up, and then we were off and running. But we don't get home until early in the morning.
Yeah.
And so then, and of course, but we have a lot of acreage out there that things can move around and whatever. And we've been told that people, and we're not far from this one area. Well, we're not super close. I mean, we're in between two places where there's a hot spots of activity, and one of them is Apache Pass, and we have gotten so many stories out of that area. B, are you back?
Yes, I'm back. I'm not able to, I don't think I'm gonna be able to look at the chat since I'm on my phone, but I guess y'all can just tell me when you have questions and stuff. It's crazy. Like, my Wi-Fi is not working, and it's so wild right now. I have no idea why it's not working.
I'm telling you,
Wi-Fi.
It's probably the subject matter. So I have a question. We'll start with Chris, because Chris got here on time, unlike somebody. So Chris,
I wasn't sure I could make it.
Yeah. So Chris, let me ask you this: the drone thing. What is your theory on that? And then we'll go to Bettina. What do you think's happening with that? Tell me what you know.
You know what? I am under the impression. First, I thought for sure that it was us. It was like, I thought it was a deep state op, perhaps something on. I always go back to this change in administration and somebody trying to disrupt the transfer of power. That was where my initial, instinct was. But now I'm not so sure. The manifesto that I read sounded somewhat authentic, and if it's not, I don't want to go down the alien road, because I just don't feel that that's my gut tells me it's not extraterrestrial in origin. And this is just my theory and opinion, but I just don't think it is. I think it's the timing of it within this administration shift, and a lot of stuff's going to change. We all know that. The globalist agenda has definitely got punched in the face. And I feel like these people, whoever these people are, will pull out all stops to disrupt this thing if they can. Because, I think that the veil has been lifted over many people's eyes. And I don't want to go down too deep a political discussion. That's not why we're here. I feel like this is related to that. That's what my discernment is. That's what I know. I don't have any deep insider information. I've seen a million conspiracies bouncing around the internet about this thing. I've seen biblical conspiracies, and I'm a faulty Christian, and I pay attention to the Book of Revelations, but my gut tells me no, that's not what it is. And I could very well be wrong. I don't think, like, literally, you said it earlier, Josh. It's all conjecture, every bit of it. We try and connect dots, right? But these ones are so far apart. How do you connect a dot between what we're seeing, what the government's not saying? I mean, that Pentagon news conference last week it made the UFO disclosure hearings look like they were actually telling us something. That guy said nothing. He literally said nothing, And anytime Uncle Sam's not saying something, I feel like they know something.
They do.
So
that's absolutely right.
So it might be us.
Yeah. Well, I think this country was founded on secrecy. I mean, it really was, So, B, what is your take on this? What do you think is happening with the drones and all this stuff?
I feel like that what's happening with the drone. I have several theories. On it because they're so secretive about it that it makes me feel like, at first I thought that you have several theories that's out there. Project Blue Beam got brought up. Then you had the theory as far as UFOs, because if you look at the fact that just within the last 2 to 5 months or so, Congress started having these congressional hearings about UAPs and USOs or whatever. And I found that to be strange. What are the odds that they just so happen to be talking about this and trying to get these people to come out and give their testimonies? And these are credible eyewitnesses talking about this. They're government employees. They were employed by the government and had top secret information. And I found that kind of rather disturbing, the fact that they're bringing that up at the same time. And then, what, a couple of months later, when did this start? December 3rd. Actually, it started before December 3rd. It started on
November.
Thanksgiving Day. And I can't remember that guy's name. I talked to Chris about this. There was a guy who had some kind of, was it a WebBot software that they predicted this? Do you remember his name, Chris?
What's his last name? Ryan?
Ryan.
I remember us talking about it. I think you texted it to me.
Are you talking about Sean? Not Sean. Is it Sean? No, there was another.
No, there was a guy who. No, it was a guy. His.
Oh no,
I
the
can't
dude
remember.
that was on Joe Rogan.
Yes.
Rogan was talking about him. Yeah, I don't
And
remember his name. I coming back.
I can't remember that guy's name, but what I do remember is that basically what he had said that I found disturbing was the fact that he had predicted it and said, now this is a guy who had a web bot. He had some kind of software, and there was some kind of system within that software that let them know just different things. They were able to predict stuff based on what the web bot information gave them. And what it had said is that, and this was back in 2009 when this guy created this webbot software, and he created it, and he said that when Donald Trump, 39 days after 39 days or something like that after Donald Trump was on Joe Rogan's show, then that's when you're going to start seeing drones and UFOs and stuff like that in the air. He said he had predicted it pretty much. So people did the prediction on that and like the math on it and said, okay, that's around December 3rd. And so everybody was waiting for December 3rd, December 4th to see what was going to happen. And it had already really started around Thanksgiving, but it really started to ramp up around December 3rd, which was interesting. And so it became a big thing. It started out in New Jersey, then it spread over to New York,
Baltimore. Talk about Ryan
Baltimore.
Graves.
No, like
Ryan Graves, right?
Well, people in the chat are saying Cliff High.
Cliff High, yes. Cliff High had predicted that. And so he said that when this started to happen, that he said shortly thereafter, after you start seeing these drones and stuff like that, then it was going to go from a point to where he said it was going to carry on over into January of 2025. And when it continued over into January of 2025, what was going to be interesting about that was the fact that the drones are going to start firing on each other. There's going to start being a war between them, and there's going to be melee, which he explained what melee, and he said it was a military term, and it was going to be a lot of destruction, a lot of chaos being ensued because of this. And so the confusion with the drone situation that I found was that the fact that, for one, the government or the military complained that they had no idea where these drones came from. They had no idea. They said that it wasn't owned by our government. It wasn't owned by any other government or any other nation. But then later on, they came out and did another press conference, and then they said it was a mothership, Iranian mothership, and then another conference. They did so many back and forth that it's like, can you make up a story and stick with it? Because they changed it up so much that it got confusing to the point, like, you know what? They are telling the people, because I know that they had press conferences there in the state of New Jersey and New York. I think between 200 and 400 law enforcement officials showed up for this town hall meeting to have a discussion about this. And a lot of them left out of there pissed off due to the fact that they had reached out to the Pentagon, they had reached out to the military, they had reached out to like everybody that they could reach out to, and the Pentagon and coming back with statements telling them that, well, there's nothing there, there's nothing going on. We don't think it's a threat. Well, how can you say it's a threat when you say you don't even know where these things are coming from? When people are reporting, several videos are being put out on this situation, and these things are the size of SUVs and cars. So you say that you don't know where these things are coming from, but how can you say that it's not a threat? And then they're spotted and recorded over military bases, over Donald Trump's golf course. And then what they weren't telling you was that the UFOs and drones were not just only being sighted in the United States and in Jersey, it was all over the world. I know like 5, 6, up to like 8 to 10 different countries were having the same stuff going on at the same time. Now, in the midst of all of that was going on, there was more also going on with that drone situation than just the drones. I want to finish about the drones, but one thing I want to say about it was that law enforcement actually started sending up, computer's doing something crazy. Law enforcement actually started sending up their own drones. And when they started sending up their own drones, those drones were able to actually power off or power down the military, I guess the law enforcement drones, and crash them to the ground. They were not able to be detected on radar, infrared, or anything like that. Chris, did you have any more on that about those drones as far as what was happening with those? Anything else that you know about it? Because I got more, but
no, I'm listening to you. I was following a lot of the same stories that you were. I have to be really honest because we talked about this the other day. I did not want to feed this a lot of energy because like so many of these other things, I always want to play the devil's advocate on some of this, but really so many of these other strange occurrences that have happened in the last couple of years, like, I don't like to dive down those rabbit holes sometimes too much because I just feel like there's too much fluff out there to decipher what the truth is, and I don't feel that anything really comes of it. I feel like that a lot of times we're always looking for either a biblical thing to attribute to it, or Linda Moulton Howe and listening to some of the ufologists and their take on it. But I mean, the proofs in the pudding, these people are almost never right. They're almost never right. So I'm always leery about diving in and giving an opinion. I don't have a solid opinion. It's weird. It's unnerving that in our own U.S. airspace, these things can seem to be able to go wherever they want with complete autonomy. That, I think, is the most real disturbing part of this. What they are, man, that is, I guess that's why we're here right now. I saw somebody in the chat say that they thought it was a government psyop. I'm not so sure that's not true, too. There's a lot of reasons why that. Go ahead, John.
Well, no, on the episode that Joe Rogan had Ryan Graves on, that's why I mentioned him, because we were talking about Ryan. That was the guy's name that he had an episode where he was talking to this guy, and I looked it up, and it says here, Joe Rogan gives his reaction to ex-U.S. Navy pilot Ryan Graves, who seemingly dismantled the much-discussed missing nukes theory related to the New Jersey drone sightings. Rogan appeared to issue a rather lighthearted and concise response before they further analyzed the mysterious UAP sightings in America. And it says here, Ferguson, it says, during their latest conversation, Rogan referenced the recent TikTok video by John Ferguson, a military veteran contractor and unmanned aircraft provider. It says here he's some expert. Ferguson suggested that the mysterious drone sightings, which have drastically increased in New Jersey, are likely a part of the U.S. government's search operations for a missing nuclear warhead that was smuggled into America. Now, Rogan recounted that the U.S. and Russia reportedly dismantled many Soviet nuclear warheads infrastructure from Ukraine after the Cold War, from the 1990s until 2001. Well, Ferguson highlighted that around 80 of those warheads went missing. Well, now, that's true. Says Rogan cited Ferguson's claims that one of the warheads was resurfaced in America. Ferguson implied the U.S. government has deployed its most advanced drones with nighttime detection to track the alleged warhead through its gamma radiation. Nevertheless, Graves deemed it unlikely. So Ryan Graves says he doesn't believe. They says there are teams that respond to those type of political potential emergencies, typically within the Department of Energy, having potentially hundreds of drones flying around trying to identify these. Isn't necessarily the best way. Gamma radiation is typically well shielded in weapons, yes, and at a very high altitude or even moderate altitudes, like we're seeing these objects, it'd be pretty difficult to detect them. He says, and the way that this DOE typically operates in this environment is ground-based teams searching for radiation itself. So it's necessarily consistent with how they do it to begin with, and then based off the information, that's what leads me to believe that's not the case. And he says it makes you feel better. Well, that makes me feel better because I was freaking out. That's what Joe Rogan said, and then they went on and on, whatever. But the point is that was on an episode where they talked about this, and so this guy apparently is an expert at and he doesn't believe that. He does not believe that's what it is. I don't either. Because I don't think they're going to put so many drones in the sky to where everybody's going to notice it, and then everybody's going to start panicking and freaking out, and then they're going to be like, "Oh, well, we were looking for a nuclear war." Like, oh, nothing to panic about, nothing to see here. The East Coast will be obliterated, and then we'll figure it out. Philadelphia will be gone, though. That's the upside, right? Yeah, Chris.
But what was disturbing about it also,
we don't care.
Well, what was also disturbing about it was the fact that outside of the threat, some of them were actually crashing.
Mm-hmm.
There was actually crash sites, and they quickly covered that up, just like they do with Bigfoot, Dogman bodies that are found. That's quickly covered up. Then people's channels were shut down that actually put out videos at that time. And at some point, of course, the president-elect Donald Trump, which this is hilarious to me, but Donald Trump had told people to shoot them down. And there were actually videos of people. I think somebody in Tennessee actually was out there and full blast, like went on full blast, like trying to shoot these things down. One guy, the police showed up. They had him on body cam. He shot one down. He said, well, all I know is that all I saw one of those drones over my house, and a rope came down from it. And when that rope came down from it, I felt like my life was in danger, and I shot it down. And he said, am I in trouble? And he said, the police officer told him, yeah. He said, how much? He said, it's going to be about $10,000. Well, for one, government, why are you charging him $10,000? You say that you don't know what it is. You say it's not a threat, but you're not doing anything about it. And then when they were sending up jets, or whatever, the military's jets, these things, and even the military and the law enforcement jets and airplanes and helicopters that were going after them, they were shutting their lights down and either disappearing or going off like shooting out at like Mach speed. They said that they don't have anything within our technology or any of our aircraft that is able to do that. And if it is, then it's top secret and they're just not telling us about it. So that's disturbing enough in and of itself. So at that point, for me, when the government, you say you don't know, and then you come back with another story, and then another story after that, and another one, and you conflicting stories, and you say it's not a threat, and then all of a sudden, then now it's like these, what was it, the nuclear warheads, and then it's not that. And if one crashes, don't go up and approach it, because make sure you call the bomb squad. If one of these things does crash, people have to go out in hazmat suits. Why is that?
Yeah.
For you to say that it has to go, for the bomb squad to needed to be called for that, don't approach it. Then you're saying, what is that? Some radiation? Is there something going on with that? What do you know? Why are you saying a bomb squad and people in hazmat suits have to go out as far as these things are concerned? But what they also weren't mentioning was that at the same time, while the drones were up there, it wasn't only the drones. You had orbs up there too. And shape-shifting orbs at that. The shape-shifting orbs was something in and of itself that was strange enough. Like the orbs were actually shooting down the drone.
Yeah.
Did y'all see the videos?
Yeah, that's true. Yes. And some of those orbs, I saw some videos that were sent to me from your neck of the woods over there near Philadelphia. They had some near Philly, Kramer. And they were in Pennsylvania. I say Philly. Philly's not the whole state, but it's the disgusting part of it. But the rest of it is beautiful. But I'm kidding.
Yes, it is.
Philly, Chris over here. I gotta tease him, but no, they showed this, and somebody compared it to Ezekiel's wheel within a wheel. One of these plasmic looking beings, and you could see like these two spinning wheels. I was amazed by that. And of course, people fake stuff, and at PRT we are committed. We don't post pictures very often because it leads to arguments and fights. And then everybody's like, oh, you posted a fake video or a picture. So I don't really get, I very rarely will post them, but I have hundreds of photos of all kinds of stuff, but it doesn't prove anything. But yeah, and this one was weird, and you could see it like kind of moving and changing. Go ahead.
I saw one that was sent to me by somebody we both know, whose name I'm not going to mention, but pretty reputable. And it literally looked almost like they had to capture a close-up of one of these drone configurations, and the interior of it, it almost looked like when they do like the ultrasound of a pregnant woman, and like the inside of it almost looked like there was something organic and biologic moving within the confines of the structure. It was the weirdest one that I have seen. It definitely, it wasn't like mechanical in nature. It looked like a biologic and organic, and I didn't even know what to think of that. That was, Invasion of the Body Snatcher type stuff. Like, it was really bizarre, so I mean, like you said, Josh, this stuff gets out there in the net, and I mean, who knows where it's coming from. This was from somebody that I trust, but again, you just don't know.
And Chris,
I don't know that was the weirdest one I've seen. It didn't look like a drone from Walmart,
And Chris, there were also videos too of people who were actually talking to these drones, and not the drones, the orbs, and they were actually responding to what the woman was saying on the video. More than one person was talking to him, and they were actually responding to it. So it means it had some
Stephen
type
Greer
of
happy.
Well, he's actually on Stephen Greer's website. He actually has on there CE5 something. If you go to the Play Store, he's actually got it on his website, but he tells on his website you go to the Play Store and you put in CE5 something. I can't remember what it is. Go to his website, and there's an app on there. And on this app, according to what he has on his website, he's telling people how to actually call up and contact UFOs and call them up. You got to pay like $9.99 or something like that per month or whatever.
He's been talking about that for a long time.
Yeah, well, that's disturbing because, like, people, my thing on it, as far as the aliens,
about that for a while.
Well, what's disturbing about it is that we all think that aliens or life forms from other planets are all friendly creatures. Like, what if they're not? What if they're not?
Neither are Bigfoot. I mean, people don't.
I don't think that.
You know how many times we get people, and me and Anthony will argue with them all day. They tell us that, well, there's a dog man on our property, but it's friendly. I'm like, no, they're not. And it's not a wild animal either. They don't know. If you read the Book of Enoch, it's very clear, and it says that these things were basically created by the Watcher.
And Josh, if you remember at one point also, it also talked about the fact, what was it, when Moses was followed by cloud by day and the fire by night. Mm-hmm. And you have different UFOs that have been spotted in the sky, like mothership types, huge ones that actually you could see the shape of them through those clouds in the daytime. And the fire by night, if that's the way that they explained them back then, because that's the best way that they had to explain it, the fire is orange or red or whatever. So it makes you look at it and think about it like that. And when it talks about Ezekiel's wheel in the middle of the wheel, he actually but Ezekiel explained it as when the spirit moved up from the ground, what did he call it? The wheels move up the ground. When the spirits moved up from the ground, the wheels also moved up with them. Mm-hmm. So is that saying that there's a spirit within that wheel? Almost like he didn't know how to explain it any other type of way than to say that there's a spirit, there's a being inside of this wheel. But whenever the wheel turns, whichever way the wheel turns, the spirit turns, the wheel turns with it. That's kind of interesting to me. And that's just one of those things that we can kind of look at this. But I don't know. It's just a lot of stuff happening with it. And then everything else that's happening right now. Also, I heard y'all talking about the fog or whatever that people are reporting now. And I find that to be strange as well, because like as far as the fog is concerned, what we're hearing about, what I've heard about that, and I haven't put too much time into it just yet because there's so much coming out right now. But one of the things that I found disturbing or interesting about that fog was the fact that people were getting sick from it, and they were saying they were getting boils, and then they were saying it wasn't like regular fog, and in some places it was collecting like some kind of white foam or whatever on the ground. People, and so what is happening right now? It's a lot happening, and it's not
there's a
being
lot of
explained.
tension, you know, a lot of people fighting and arguing, and there's just, you know, I was driving down the road the other day, and I just look over, and there's this guy and this girl. They're sitting in their car, and they're looking straight ahead. And then for some reason, I don't know, I just glanced over and I looked, and you could see that she was saying something. And then I saw the guy start slamming his steering wheel, and I look and I was like, oh crap. And I reacted because they were arguing, and they started going into my lane, going into the other lane. And I told Anthony, I said, we're going to get killed over here because this guy and this woman are screaming, yelling at each other. And then there was another one where me and Nellie pulled up to the stoplight, and these people, I told us to look at, they're arguing, and they were just sitting there fighting in the car. And I'm like, what is going on? I just, everywhere we look, there's like this tension. It's exploding. Everybody's fighting. Everybody's angry. People are going crazy. There's like this obsession with this revenge and
Conflict.
And hate. Conflict is everywhere you look. And I have friends that are fighting with each other, and they won't talk to each other. And I'm like, I can't mediate for you. I have my own issues with people, and I don't, you know, I don't know what this is. I don't know what's going on. I mean, it's like something just unraveled, and now all of a sudden there's just, like I was saying earlier, they cleared out the mall yesterday because there was a shooting, and then the day before. Now, I've been going through some stuff. One of my best friends passed away on New Year's Eve, and I've been dealing with that, and it was sudden. Like he, you know, he's younger than me, and he's gone, and it's hard. And so I've got friends though that are just so wrapped up in hurting one another, and I can't get them to listen to reason. You know, they don't want to hear anything. They just want to fight. And it just seems like it's happening so much. And now what you're talking about, that fog, it's so bizarre because we went through that fog. Remember that? We were in Pflugerville, Texas. We were going through Pflugerville, and it was so bad all the way home. We went through that fog, and then the next day we felt sick. So when we saw some fog yesterday, luckily it wasn't really bad. Nellie was like, oh, here we go. We're going to end up getting sick. And I was like, no, we're not. I felt differently about it, and we didn't, thank goodness. But the fog was so thick you could barely see through it. And if you got right up behind someone, you could just see their taillights. And it was like, this is crazy. And then it had a weird smell to it, didn't it, Anthony? Like a chemical smell. And I said, this is crazy. Yeah. You know, what are they doing? I mean, what's going on in the skies? You know, what's going on with these? I mean, the people in charge. You know, they're in charge. They're poisoning our food supply. They've been doing it for a long time. Anybody who believes otherwise is kidding themselves. And you see at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., everybody lined up, wrapped around the fast food places. I'm telling you, 100% do not eat that crap. I promise you, don't eat it because you're not eating beef. I'm gonna say that again. I promise you, do not eat a cheeseburger, burger, whatever from any of these fast food places because I know some things, and I promise you, do not eat it. It is the worst. It is not good for you. Don't eat a McRib, okay? I'm telling you, man. I mean, my friend of mine said it's probably mealworm. I said, no, buddy, it's worse than that. If you knew what it was, it's not good.
I never liked McRib anyway.
Well,
I do like that new chicken Big Mac though.
Chicken, you know, as long as you're not getting the one that's the fake chicken,
stay away from it.
All cancer, basically. It's the McCancer.
Yeah,
it's all bad, man. You can't eat it.
It's in the medications too.
Green.
It's a chicken
Soylent Green. There you go. There are people who have been saying this for years, 46 times now that I know of. They've caught the Mick clown with human DNA in their meat. 46
heard that.
cases of it. Yeah. So,
I didn't know that.
yeah, Marquetta says you're better off making your own food. That's right. Marquetta, listen to her. She's smart. She's been on the show too. Let me tell you something. Okay. This is crazy what's going on and what's happening now. Everybody is interested now because, you know, you can't turn away from it. When we were the crazy ones, just a few years ago, I would tell someone what I did and they'd go, and they start smiling with that goofy smile. And I would snap at some people like, why are you smiling? You know, I mean, you don't believe me? You don't think I saw a freaking werewolf? You believe this? I'm just joking. No, I'm not going to do that. But yeah, I would. But you know, the point is that these people, they think we're crazy, and they're like, well, you're getting attacked because your show breeds crazy people. It's all crazy people. And I found myself defending those people. I'm like, what? Not everybody's crazy in this field. You know, they're just a lot of people that are very insane. No, I tell them, I said, look, not everybody is a nut job. I mean, there's people that are very passionate about this. And, you know, just because there's infighting and stuff like that doesn't mean that everybody is nuts. Because at the end of the day, even those people that hate my guts, they have to admit that we're all on the same page when it comes to what we believe here. And they don't, the outside, you know, looking in, they hate us. They think we're nuts. They think we're crazy. They don't want to hear this because it upsets the balance that they've put together in themselves. You know, and so I was on the phone with a woman one day. She's from West Virginia, and her husband was in the background just mocking the hell out of her the whole time. He's like, hey, the guy on the phone is as crazy as you are. That stupid shit, blah, blah, blah. You know, and he's over there like just, you know, saying all this crazy, wild stuff. And she's just like, I'm trying to talk to, you know, and he was just attacking her, you know, attacking her. And she was like, well, how do you explain the marks that you ended up on your leg? And, you know, just whole whatever. There was something that was attacking them at night. And he couldn't. And so she's like, he doesn't like that we talk about it. I said, why not? I knew the answer. It disrupts this paradigm that he's created. Like this is his paradigm. He doesn't want it, you know, messed with. And so the way that he deals with it is to pretend like it doesn't happen and to mock his wife and gaslight her instead of being supportive and saying, look, we're all in this together. There is some crazy ass stuff going on here. We need to like figure it out. That's not happening. You have people that are attacking people for their beliefs, and it's sad because at the end of the day, people in the cryptid, Bigfoot, you know, dogman, paranormal, ghost, UFO, whatever community, there's a large portion of the population, not just in this country but around the world, that thinks we're nuts. Because they're happy with the illusion that they're living.
You know? Absolutely. And do you not find it I don't say disturbing, but a lot of stuff, every time something happens, it gets blamed on China or Russia. And I'm not saying that it's not, because I don't know. I'm not in the know on that kind of stuff. But just the fact that China owns TikTok, and right now they're trying to put a ban on TikTok, and I don't know if that's actually gone through. But to me, I feel like, and I may be wrong, but even with that, what I find disturbing about that is the fact that, and I hope this doesn't get censored, but I find the fact that TikTok, a lot of videos that we're seeing on YouTube are now put out from TikTok. And I feel like that because our government doesn't have control of that, they cannot as easily censor the information that is put out to us, because this stuff gets put out. They wanted TikTok TikTok had to either shut down or sell TikTok to the United States. And I don't know what's happened with that so far, but when you got alternate forms of media that's putting out information that our government does not want put out or shared, then I feel like that there's going to be some type of censorship on that. And I really feel like that's what's going on with it. I don't know. That's just my theory on it. And I also feel like, it's too many different things. Why is this all happening right here at election time? And one thing that came out too was that they were having this situation that was going on as far as at one point they were talking about another government shutdown and trying to thwart Trump's not election day, what do you call it, the inauguration, they were trying to push that back.
Yeah.
Because at this same time, Trump has been coming out and talking about what he's getting ready to do as far as the alphabet. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, alphabet agencies.
Alphabet agencies shutting that down, and like he's standing for, I guess, like American rights and I guess Christian rights, and I don't know if he's a Christian or not, but he's standing for things that people, most parents, I guess, the ones who have kids, and now schools are basically telling that you can't be a parent against your kid wanting to change their sexual orientation. And there's so much stuff, like everything that's coming out right now. At one point, if y'all remember when Trump's first presidency, one of the things he said was that he always addressed fake media. He always said that they were fake media and they were sharing different things. And even with this drone situation, he came out and said, our government knows where these things are coming from. They know if it came out of a garage, where they're coming out of and where they're going back to, he said, and the current president also knows, he said, and I don't know why they're not telling people where these things are coming from, but they know, he said. And so they asked him during that press conference, well, have you been debriefed about that? He said, I don't want to talk about that. I'm a woman and I'm always trying to break stuff down. I over and psychoanalyze everything. When he said, I would deal with this the same way I would with a man. When you say, I don't want to talk about it, okay, when you say I don't want to talk about it, that means that you are doing exactly what I thought you were doing. So when he said I don't want to talk about it, what I took that to mean was, yes, I have been debriefed about it, but I can't tell you because they've told me to shut my mouth about it. I can't tell you, but yeah, they know what this is and where it's coming from. Yeah. So at the end of the day, there's a lot of stuff going on right now. Y'all need to pay attention and watch everything that's happening. Matter of fact, I'm going to put this out there. Like, this is just my theories. I'm looking at everything that's going on in the world. There's a lot going on right now. And for those of y'all who's not Christian, you don't have to be. I'm not trying to push any Christian rhetoric right now, but call it whatever you want to call it. Call it Armageddon, call it end times, call it whatever. At the end of the day, like right now, the veil is being completely lifted and y'all are getting ready to see, and not just January, 2025 is going to be a Mary Frances. Y'all know what Mary Frances stand for. I'm going to say MF, Mary Frances. This is going to be a whole year where y'all going to see a lot of stuff. I'm not sure if y'all realize that we got 2 moons in our solar system right now. And if y'all remember, I'm 45 years old. So like, I remember back when I was a kid in school, when they taught you when the sun comes up, the moon goes down. But not anymore. Like if you look up in the sky in the daytime in broad daylight, the moon, a full moon will still be up there sometimes all day. What is that? Another planet has now entered into our solar system. We got more than one sun in our solar system right now. What is that? And there's no explanation for it. And I tried to take a picture of the moon in broad daylight right next to the sun one day. And I tried to post it to Facebook and I put a whole narrative above it. Like, what is this, y'all? Because this is not supposed to exist, because the sun is supposed to be up. It's supposed to be the moon on the other side of the world. The moon is not supposed to be up at the same time. The sun is up based on what you learned in school. If you were anywhere between the ages of 45 and below, like probably before your 30s, you learned that in school. So it's weird. There's a lot of stuff going on. I remember back in 2012, back when I started researching Skull and Bones and Illuminati and all of these different things, and they were talking about the Black Sun, and they were talking about Nibiru, Hercules, a whole nother red planet that was supposed to be coming through, and they were predicting it at different times. But they said that you have to go outside during sun up or sundown in order to be able to take pictures or to see it. With sometimes you would be able to see it with the naked eye, and depending on where you were. But look how many different weird things that we've had happen right now. And did y'all know, like, that right now the poles have shifted? Mm-hmm. Don't believe me. Don't believe what I told y'all. Look it up. Look it up. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The poles have shifted. I don't know how many degrees. Do y'all know that we have had, like, within the last week or so, 4 plane crashes? Like, hundreds of people have died. Like, they can't even explain why these planes have crashed.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a lot of speculation that's Nibiru coming back into our and this right here, folks, is why we need Bettina back, because look how passionate she is about this. And I'll say this again, she was the only Black female that was doing this, and she got messed with to the point of she just said to hell with it, but we need you back. This is exactly why we need you back. And Chris messaged me something. This is messed up. Chris just said, been abducted by aliens. Oh my gosh, they're probing me. What am I going to do? Chris, I'm
Y'all
kidding.
better watch.
No. Chris just messaged me and he says my power just blinked out. So
I'm not shocked. Like I had to put in a code and create a PIN number just to be able to get back in here.
That's crazy.
And it shut down my internet 2 or 3 times, and then even trying to get back on my phone. But I'm gonna let y'all know, right now, I'm going to, there's been so much negativity, y'all. I'm just gonna say this real quick. I had to go because it's too much negative energy. I'm really sensitive when it comes to spiritual stuff, spiritual warfare, negative energy, and stuff like that. Like I have discernment of spirits, so because of that, I have to disconnect myself at times, because when a lot of the stuff that was happening within the back and forth, I couldn't deal with it, and I'm too sensitive to it to the point where I had to go. I had to go. I had things actually happening over here in my home because of all the negative energy created between all the beef we had at that time. I can't take it. Josh saw in person, at his conference last year, and a video was made about it, and they discussed it and talked, and they tried to mock and make fun of it as if that's something that I wasn't going to address myself, which I'd already talked about. So for me, if things get brought up to try to shame me on something, that's not shame or embarrassment for me, because for me, that's a testimony. The same way I'm talking to y'all about it right now is the same way I can talk about it at church or anywhere else, because these things need to be brought up. Somebody said there's a Facebook group. But y'all, I do have a Facebook group, but I don't. Right now, I'm trying to decide whether to shut my group down. I'm not doing too much cryptid stuff right now. I probably will start back. I'm waiting pretty much right now for the Lord to give me an answer. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now. I'm being directed in another direction to what I'm getting ready to do, as far as all the things that's getting ready to happen in the world. Y'all are about to see some stuff, and I can't say because I don't know exactly, but I have a feeling that this year is going to probably start being the beginning of a lot of things that y'all are getting ready to start seeing, that the world is getting ready to be on a whole other crazy level. Right now, we're on the verge of World War III.
Mm-hmm.
World War III. Russia has already deemed the United States a enemy. You're going through that. You got things going on in Israel. We got 2 or 3 wars going on right now in the world. Now, all this stuff that's happening, like Josh just mentioned a few minutes ago, there's a spiritual energy. Somebody in the chat earlier said the veil is being lifted, and it is being lifted. Some of this stuff, whether it's the drones or what's being sprayed or whatever's going on, zombie apocalypse, whatever y'all want to call it, there's some stuff that's going on right now that is crazy. Because Josh, you said that, who was it that you said that passed on New Year's Eve?
My friend Max passed away. Max Linebecker, and he was a really good friend of mine. He was taken off life support and he hung on. But we knew each other since we were children. And actually, one of the stories that I've told was from someone that we both knew mutually. And it was a guy that who saw this weird shape-shifting dog man that looked like it was if you took a werewolf and pulled it out, it was elongated. Yeah. Remember that, Anthony? Mm-hmm. And it was undulating across the road. That story came from one of mine and Max's friends that passed away. That was a friend of his uncle's. But anyway, Max had given me a couple creepy stories from Thorndale, so I was going to tell a couple of those too coming up pretty soon, just in honor of him, because he had a couple weird things that he had been told to him about that area that he used to live in. And where he grew up is not far from where I'm living now. And he was a very close friend of mine. I talked to him maybe a week before he passed away. And because we were having some issues with our finances, and he offered to help because he's a nice guy and he's a childhood friend that I've known since I was really small. So yeah, he passed away. So rest in peace, Max Leindecker. And sad for his sons, Ian and Isaac, and his daughter and his wife, and April. She's a nice woman, and sorry to his family that passed away. But I've just been kind of dealing with that, and we were pretty good friends, and so it really hurts. And his sister. Now here's the thing: his sister Melissa had 2 children with Daniel, who was the guy who I saw the dog man with. So Max was around back in those days when that happened, and he remembered the whole thing. He was one of the first people that was told about the dog man that we saw, was Max, because he came over the next day after we saw what we saw. He came to the house the next day, and we discussed with him what we saw. In fact, he probably was the first friend that we told. And so Daniel was with his sister for years, Melissa, and they had 2 children, one of which is named after me, Josh Robles. He's named after me. And so I'm very proud of that. And the other one is named after my friend Daniel. He's Daniel's son, Junior. And so, but we saw the dog man. And so for years, Max was fascinated by that too. And we had a friend who passed away years ago. And of course, Trey Felton, everybody knows, who catered at the conference from Thorndale Meat. He was really good friends with this guy's brother, and his name was Bradley Barron, and he passed away when we were young. And we had a mutual friend, all of us, and that was him. But he had a Bigfoot encounter out there near Apache Pass. He was one of the first people that ever told me that they had seen Bigfoot, and Max had reiterated what he believed was happening. He didn't see a Bigfoot, but he had told me that he heard one when he was out there camping years ago when they were young. And so we went out there on a dare because everybody was like, I bet you won't go out there and we'll drop you off by yourself out in the woods and we'll see. So 2 weeks before I saw the dog man, we went out to Apache Pass, and I got out of the car and I sat there for 30 minutes while they drove off and left me. And then they came back. And I heard some things by the bridge. You know where the bridge is at, right, honey? Mm-hmm. We went there with Dee on Thanksgiving Day. Yeah. And we made a little video on Nellie's channel, whatever. But it was a beautiful drive. But I heard something crashing by the water, like coming towards me. And then 2 weeks later, literally 2 weeks later, on October 31st, I saw the dog man. And then the very next day, Max came over. And Max was like, it really puts it in perspective, you sitting out there by yourself at Apache Pass. I said, yeah, it does, because what if that's that thing that I saw? What if that was coming at me, because it was only like 15 miles from where I saw the dog man. I mean, as the crow flies, it's about 15 miles. Mm-hmm. And it's only about, 8 miles from where we live now. So you're sitting there going like, this is a scary place where people see things all the time. And it is a terrifying thought that you could be that close to something. Now Felton's ranch is right there by it, and I never realized how close he was to all those Bigfoot reports. No wonder he's into Bigfoot and all that, because he lives right there, and the Bigfoot creatures that we get the reports of out there are terrifying looking. They look like Congo or something. I'm not joking. They have these like gray faces, because the theory is that they rub like ash on their faces, but that would mean that they work with fire, somehow. Mm-hmm. And Bigfoot's not supposed to do that. So these things are more like some sort of troglodyte throwback species or whatever. I don't know what they are, but people see them. The last report I had was 2012, and then I got one recently from 2021, and then that person introduced me to another lady. She saw one in 2015, one in 2017. So they're still around, for sure. But you get these weird reports, and now here lately, I don't know. Me and Anthony were talking about this. When was the night? It was New Year's Eve. It was New Year's Eve. We did the patrol, and Nellie, you were working over at that post or whatever. and we were going over some of the stories that we were getting. And I told Anthony, I said, what is going on? Because here lately, we have just gotten with a flurry, like a bunch of reports of UFOs and Bigfoot. And then there was one lady that was up in Nevada, Carson City, was it?
Yeah.
Nevada. And she was near a golf course or something. And she saw a Bigfoot and a UFO at the same time. Like, she saw them, and her husband at first was kind of like, he didn't believe it, whatever. But then when they were driving home, he saw the UFO, and it changed colors from green to orange and different colors in between, like a yellowish color. Then it went back. And I did see a video where there was someone that showed one of these orbs over the skies in not New Jersey, in Maryland. And it did look like what Chris was talking about. It was like this weird, like, it looked like I don't know. It would look like a fetus, dude. Like, that's what he was talking about. And I thought, what in the hell is that? Like, so when I saw that, remember I told you, Nelly, I was in there and I was like, I don't know what I was doing. I was brushing my teeth or something. And I said, do you believe? And Nelly's like, what is that? I'm like, I don't know. But then Kramer talked about it too. And it was a weird video. And so there's all this stuff going on. Thank you for that donation, Salem Nemesis. We greatly appreciate that. But it's all this weird stuff going on, you know? And you can't deny that it's happening, and it's speeding up. It's happening more and more and more. And it seems like every day now we're getting reports, and I'm glad. I'm glad. Not glad that all this stuff's happened, but glad that, I'm thankful that people trust me enough to give me their reports and talk to me, even though there are some that say I'm the evilest man that's ever lived since Attila the Hun. But the truth is just, I'm a normal guy that's just doing this. And I want to get the truth out there. I want people's stories to be heard. I want people to, I got a story out of Dallas. This is a crazy one I'm going to tell on Sunday. But this guy had a terrifying, absolutely terrifying experience. He's an African-American guy up in Dallas. I know his brother. And he's working security at a high-rise building up in Dallas. And something happened to him in one of the restrooms. And it's a horrifying thing. I'm going to tell it on Sunday. You guys got to check it out, because me and Nelly were talking about this story. We're like, what would we do if that happened to us? Like, I don't know what I would do. I don't know what I would do. There's just so many of these stories and so much stuff that's going on. And the community needs more people like Chris and Bettina to be involved. People that have a passion for this, that care about this, and that want to be heard, and are very fair. And Bettina, you've got to be one of the like, you're insightful, but you're also a very caring person, and I think that was the Achilles that they looked for to attack. Was it? We lost her, but she was a very caring individual. She cares too much. Whereas someone like me is like, they hit me with something, and I'm like, go ahead, dude, do whatever, they talk about my mom. Oh, he had a bad relationship with his mom. I did. So what? But before she passed away, we had reconciled, for quite a while. But I'm not one of those people, though, either, that when someone passes away, if they were a good person, they were a good person. If they were not a good person, I don't sanctify people that weren't good.
No.
Before my mother's experience, as when she had the near-death experience, I'm going to be honest, I don't think she was a good person. I don't. But it changed her life. But God cared enough, as far as I'm concerned, that she saw Christ. And that changed her and made her into somebody that was a more, it doesn't matter what we think. It's what it is. Good night, Bettina. I think Bettina's thing messed up or whatever.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, but but she'll be back. She'll be back again. She'll be around. And so you have this experience that my mother had, and it changed her into a decent person and a more loving person And we love you too, Bettina. We really do. Thank you for coming on. Nellie just joined us. She's over here across from me. And how you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
Yeah,
You hanging in there?
yeah. I'm hanging in there. I'm trying. You know, I'm very hurt by the mean people. I just, it's really bothering me. You can look at my face. See, look at me. Do you see the emotion?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry. I don't care. I mean, because I know what's what, and at the end of the day, I can tell you this, speaking of my mother, I know that she went to where she's supposed to be, and that's with the Lord, because she became a super duper on fire for Christ person after what happened to her. And I think only some of us would be so lucky as to be able to have something like that happen, even though it was a traumatic and terrifying thing, because it showed her there is an afterlife. And we are all in danger of not going somewhere good if we don't change our ways. And I really believe that we here at PRT, we did shut the doors for 5.5 weeks, whatever. And we were like, we're done. We're sick of it, whatever. And we were actually happy, but then something happened when Abe couldn't get on that night. We decided to do the show with our channel, and it's nothing that we took lightly. I was like, should we do this? And Anthony was like, well, it's up to you. And then Nellie was like, yeah, I think we should. And we did. And then we came back. And it's like, I think right now is a very pivotal time in our society, in our world. And I think we need to be here. And the people that are acting rowdy and I mean, this is beyond that, trying to derail what we're doing. And folks, we can't let that happen. So what we got to do is ignore, block, delete, whatever we got to do, and drown out that noise from whoever is distracting you. The woman that I was talking to and her husband was in the background telling her that she was crazy, wouldn't let her speak, and just kept on being disruptive. And it's horrible because that poor lady had to sit there and deal with not only the traumatic experiences that were happening to her, but then she had this a-hole that was back there not backing her up and mocking her. But yet he was going through it too, but he just wanted to pretend like he wasn't. And I just think that, there's so much of that happening right now. People that are disruptive and trying to disrupt people's lives. They're trying to stop you from getting to the truth. And some of these people, I think, are like, what do you call that? Like automatons. Like, what are they like? We call them NPCs.
Mm-hmm.
Like her husband in the background droning on about, no pun intended, droning on and on about how, oh, you're just getting too, you're too emotional and whatever. And, it just, you're starting to witness there's like this divide between those who believe and are really sincere about this, and then those who just want to be disruptive and evil and be mean. And I think this year really separated the wheat from the chaff. I really think that there's been an opening, an awakening, whatever you want to call it. And here at PRT, I want us to be on the forefront of the good guys, of the good side, and let's drown out this noise that's coming from the disruptors. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
agree.
No, I mean, we just got to ignore them. We got to put our best foot forward, and all you can do, and this sounds cliche, but it is the absolute truth. You got to pray for them.
Oh yeah.
Because if you pray for them, that's all you can do. That's all you can do.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to change them. You're not going to. I think that's the big. We were talking. Bettina was talking about Trump earlier. That was the big takeaway for me. Was why was he pandering to the other side? They're not going to change.
Right.
They're not going to listen. They're not going to stop. So why is he over there giving them anything? Because all they're going to do is continue to hate. If he told them, I'm giving you all $1 million, they're going to be like, oh, all he gave us was $1 million.
It's never going to be enough.
It's never enough, and it will never be good enough, and they will never like you. They will never love you. They will never be your friend. They are never going to ever, ever, ever stop. You know, and I think Marcus Aurelius, you know, he said these people are going to be what they're going to be, whether we're here or not.
Mhm.
Love the guy.
So that's what we got to do. We got to conquer it, do what we got to do. It doesn't matter. And I don't mean we're trying to conquer YouTube like we've been accused of.
Mhm.
YouTube's a big place. I'm not planning on doing anything but just doing our show. Right?
Yes.
We're just doing our show. That's it. And if you love us, you love us. If you hate us, you hate us. That's it. I mean, I think that we're in for a wild ride. I think what's coming is going to be something to behold. And I hope that Chris Kramer and Bettina Moss do a show together, and they use this as a jumping off point to talk more in depth.
Yes.
And
That would be awesome.
I'm just glad that I could be a part of it and get them on here. And so, what was that?
I said do it.
You said do it. You got your headphones on. You know that?
I do. Oh, am I supposed to?
You don't
take
need
them
them
You don't
anymore.
need
off? Oh, you said
You
to
don't
wear
need
them.
Well, I
It-
said to wear them for the
It
Oh.
took me a while to realize it too.
goofball.
You're welcome.
And so, yeah, Chris Anderson says any more green logo shirts left? We might have some. I don't know.
The ones that I came up with.
And
You're
Marquetta
welcome.
says, yeah, those you did. Marquetta says, great to see you, Bettina. It was. I mean, I talked to Bettina once in a blue moon. We hadn't talked like we used to. We used to talk all the time, but it is good to see B back and talking. And she was very passionate, and that's how she is.
And
Yeah.
She was locked and
I
loaded
mean,
tonight. She didn't
Very
come to play.
insightful. She ain't playing around, dude. And she's on a mission, and I hope that she stays the course. You know, and there's a lot of people doing a lot of things, a lot of good people, and they far outnumber the bad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'd say 1,000,000 to 1. Yeah, Bettina just said, she's like, I can't explain it, but I have a strong feeling things will get worse from this point on. Things will be worse before they get better. But there's always a morning after. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. You know? I really believe that.
Don't let it get you down a dark trail though, because
Mhm.
take it one day at a time, one breath at a time, and just go with it. Yeah, it's not like it, unless it's an atomic bomb, it's not going to just hit you at once. Like, oh, it's okay, and then bad, just nothing but bad. So you're going to ease into it, and then you're going to ease out of it. It's going to come and go.
Yeah.
And how you face it is how it can be. You can make a bad situation worse, or you can make a bad situation tolerable. It's up to you. Depending on, you know, I mean, if you're captured and tortured, that's beside that's not it. But you get my drift.
Yeah. Yeah. And Sailor Nemesis is asking about her black hat. Well, you know what happened about your black hat is Tony. Okay. And we're not just blaming him, but Tony did the mail ops. Okay. Sailor, resend me your information so that I can personally make sure that you get your black hat. Because if not, well, you might end up with one of our black cats instead of a black hat. We only have one black hat. So you'll get Martis. Comes in the mail. Martis is just like, hey.
Over my dead body will you get Martis, Sailor Nemesis.
Martis
That
and
will
the cat.
never
Well, you
happen.
never know.
I assure you.
Tony
I
might
assure you. You must defeat me in combat for my cat.
Tony might wrap him up and just send it to her. You go,
No.
you said black cat. Yeah, Dee just pointed out something. Yellowstone is on the verge of blowing. Okay, and then and he also says they have to get worse. You know, it's a cycle. Me and my brother have been talking about this for years. That's my brother, and the same one that's writing about the haunted house we used to live in and made the maps with me. We started this journey together. My brother used to have a very good voice. He was a very good speaker, but as these two can attest, he actually saved. This is a true story. My brother saved a guy from being killed. I'm not joking. They were unaliving this dude. And my brother was the first one over there to help. And I was like driving, so I had to go pull over and not get hit. And these people were fighting and they were hurting a guy. They were beating up a homeless man bad. And they were just young thugs doing what they were doing. And one of them, my brother kicks like a mule back in those days. And I mean like punches like a mule kicks. And he just leveled one of them, and they were like not playing around. These guys were locked and loaded themselves on drugs. And so he got stabbed in the throat, in the neck. And so is never quite healed, been the same, whatever. But I always say that, hey, you know what? I asked him before, would you to do it over, would you still jump out of the car? And he says, yes, I would jump out of the truck. That's the kind of guy he is.
He's got a good heart.
He's got a good heart.
But now he can sing heavy, like that rough metal music. He can now sing that really well.
Well, he just talks in heavy metal now. He didn't have to sing it.
Yeah, but that's how his voice is now. And I have video of him when he had a band, and he could sing and he could hit the high notes. I'm the only one in the family that has no musical talent at all. I am like talentless when it comes to music. I don't know how to play instruments. Everybody plays an instrument but me. I'm the pugilist. Okay, that's me. And so, yeah, it is what it is. But hey, back in the day, I was really good at what I did. I was very good with my craft, And so, But back in my day, the ladies liked a guy that could throw down and fight. Nowadays, they're like, "You toxic masculinity, boo, boo." But back in the day, I was like Popeye. I was like, "Hey, did you see that there?" And the women were like, "Oh, Popeye." Not now. They're like, 911. Yes, a man kept pushing this guy's buttons until he deserved his ass beating, and then he got it. Come arrest the guy that got tired of his shit. And then you go to jail. What you can do. So, but back, everybody has to learn. And if you're here, you're trying to learn. I was talking the other day, I ran into a friend of mine. Shout out to Chris Dorman. He was one of the strongest guys I ever knew. He helped teach me as a young man how to lift weights. Him and his girlfriend at the time, they were just like,
thank you, Tara.
Showing me, thank you for that donation, Tara. They were showing me how to work out because, I was young and I thought I knew how to work out, I'd go to the gym and I was in there moving and pulling and doing all kinds of stuff. And somebody would go, and I'd be like, what? What? Because I know how to work out. And they're like, well, sir, why are you in the scaffolding? We're just wondering because we were remodeling and you were pushing and pulling the scaffolding and you're kicking over paint buckets. And I was like, I was testing the integral structure of the old scaffolding, and it's good. It's up to code. My uncle, the code master, will probably give you a passing grade. And now I will go. So Dorman's like, he has this real booming voice. He's like, hey kid, come here. And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, over here on the bench press. This is, all right. And you know how he talks.
Yeah.
And he shows me how to do things. And this is how you, have you lifted weights before? I said, yes, back in school when I was a lad. And his girlfriend was she was a workout person, and she was just like, she's like, he's really loud and booming. There was a guy named Mitch Williams. They used to work out together. They were always in the gym, and I had been working out for a little while, but I did not know how to accelerate the growth of my muscles through lifting until I met those guys. And then John Parker, rest in peace, another one of my friends, passed away. He had a heart condition that he wasn't aware of, and he passed away in his sleep. But yeah, those guys, I credit them with helping me. But if you have to learn, you have to ask questions, you have to start somewhere. Now I am one of the strongest people in the gym, but I didn't start out that way. All those guys were stronger than me at one time, and I did it all by I never juiced. And people have accused me of that and said, oh, the reason he's so strong is because of this and that. No, slow and steady wins the race. But the point is, and what this has to do with the price of rice in China here, is that on this show, you learn. And you have to start somewhere. I've had people recently joining, and they're like, I don't know what's going on. You're referring to stuff that I don't know what these things are. And because I'll say, well, if you've been keeping up, you'll know who Joel is, and people don't know who that is. And Joel reached out to me actually right after Thanksgiving, and he was like, hey, I'm sorry, right after Christmas. And he says, hey, he's like, a lot of people aren't going to know what you're talking about, so maybe we should, you should reiterate it, whatever. And I told him, I said, quit messing around and come on. But I guess he's scared. I guess he's scared.
Who?
Joel, the guy that practiced vampirism. I guess you're scared, Joel.
Is he?
I'm trying to.
Oh,
I'm trying to do something, but you messed it up there.
You know what? You're scared, so You're scared.
You
Help
should
me.
probably come on the show and tell us all the secrets of the Temple of Shay.
Show us your brave face.
Because if you're not, you're a big old weenie head. That's what I think. Now, if you find me, my body's been exsanguinated. You know what happened. If you find me in a dumpster, no blood.
Put it back.
Yes, exactly. Just know this: I didn't donate that. Joel, I'm just kidding. Okay, I'm just joking, and Charles too. I don't want to end up as werewolf poop. I'm joking. I am completely joking, just in case. I'm just saying. Like, I'm not one of those guys that's going to talk a bunch of crap about Big. I'm going to go outside and beat up Bigfoot because Bigfoot might come in the back door and be like, open the door, and he's just like, You want to mess with Sasquatch? And I'm all like, oh, hey, what's up, buddy? Big pecs. You have very big pecs. And you know what? That is the show I do, sir. And I was kidding. I was joking. You're going to tear my arms off, aren't you? And he's like, yes. That's what happens, though. The people will run their mouth, and then that person gets checked. So maybe don't run your mouth, you know. So yeah. So the other day I was
Zip it, Lippy. Zip it, Lippy.
Exactly. I was talking to someone the other day about the moon landing. I don't want to get too far into it because this guy he owns a gun store, and we were talking about the moon landing, and I was like, right after talking about that, I was demonetized temporarily, so I would be very careful when you start getting too far into certain theories and things like that. Exactly. Nellie's doing this. Like, shame on me. So I just said, look, I'm not going to touch that one again. I'm tempted to, but I'm not going to.
Stop your own hand.
Exactly. I'm tempted to say a lot of things that are best kept for Rumble, you know, but hey, Wendy, how you doing? Wendy Guizdala. I feel like there are forces at play who are that are manipulating people into becoming human roadblocks for the flow of information and truth. And I'm not mentioning names, and I'm not going to say that whoever, just because somebody doesn't like me doesn't mean that they're a bad person. They just don't. They may be misinformed. They may have half the story.
They haven't met me yet.
Yeah, they haven't met me in person and seen how much they'll really hate me. But you know, I just don't care. I mean, you know, because I feel like we're on the right track, and you can't control what people say, do, think, feel, whatever, and you're not supposed to. If I was up here and I was controlling everybody's feelings, emotions, thoughts, whatever, that would make me a bad guy. You would be a manipulator and a what's it called? Like a cult
Puster man.
Or
Puster man. I
what is Puster man?
Wow.
Puppet master.
Wow.
You don't want to be a Puster man. All those pustules you have there, you know, like, yeah, pustule man. Get out of here. Get out of here with your pustules.
This is why I didn't want to talk on the live.
This is why we didn't want you to talk on the live, but you came and sat down anyway. I'm kidding.
You controlled that too. You told me to sit. I was kidding.
Yeah, I did. I was like, hey, sit. Like Caesar Milan. You must control the wife. You make her to sit down. Sit down. Why did you not wear the burqa? I told you. And when she tries to get up, you say, you don't need that dress. It's too expensive. And then you tell her, sit down. Then when she tries to argue with you about opinions, you don't talk about opinion. Opinion belong to me, not you. Not you, lady. And always walk in front. Make sure that she walks behind you where she belongs. And if she talks to a podcaster about her stories, sit in the background and go, that's a bunch of bullshit. It ain't about NASCAR, stupid shit. That's what it is. You dummy. I'm going to eat these pretzels. I'm sorry. I could not with me. And then the guy said something about, I said, you're calling me a dumbass? He goes, I'll call it to your face. Yeah, because no, you wouldn't.
Under fire, no food for her.
5'6".
Thanks.
Joe Breezy says a Muppet pastor.
I don't even remember what I said.
That'd be a hilarious Muppet, just like a Southern Baptist Muppet pastor.
Yeah, you're just up there like, your head has to go pop around. It's time to start the music. It's time to hit the lights. Yeah. The Muppet Passer tonight.
Music against the devil. It's going to hell.
Like this. Look, your mouth will go.
You see, we're 86.
I wish they would make a puppet of me and just do a show where they mock me all day. Because then people will go and they will see the puppet show and they'll go, I wonder what this is about. Who is this guy? And then they'll go and they'll find me. Because the more people talk about me, the better. Because then people will find the truth. Whatever brings them to the waters of life, that's what we need to do. So let it be bad. Who cares? Let them say all the bad things they want. Let them rage until the heavens fall. That's the good thing. Let them until hell freezes over.
Is he 86?
The two old guys.
He actually spelled it out.
Yeah, the two old guys in the balcony. I know who those guys are, but I'm not going to say their names. But they're up there like, yeah, up there, yeah, whatever. But so what we got coming up on Sunday, we're going to talk about some pretty terrifying encounters. I wanted to do some of Dogman in the City. I thought about it because I thought about it long and hard. And I said, you know what? I thought about it for a long time. And by a long time, I mean about 10 minutes. And I said, you know what? I think I got it. We're going to do Dogman in the City because we have several stories where people have encountered something that seems wolf-like in the city. And not just Dogman, there's been other things too. I had a guy, and most of these are in Texas. I had a guy down in Houston who, and now this sounds kind of it-ish, but he saw something kind of slithering around and it went down into one of the storm drains. And he goes, dude, me and my wife saw this thing, and there's no way that this critter, as he called it, could have squished its body, flattened out, and went into a storm drain. And I told him about that guy in Puerto Rico that saw the wolf-like creature flatten itself out.
Mm-hmm. And it went down the drain?
No. Oh. It flattened. We've talked about it on the show. It flattened it. I just saw something in there.
Oh, shut up. I'm right here next to the door, not you. Sorry, I kind of got
well, that's right. Dee's in there. He can protect us.
He is.
He's not in here? That wasn't him.
No. That's why I'm actually scared right now. Well, nervous.
Well, close the door.
I have to get up and walk over there.
It's right here.
I got it.
Close the door so we don't have to see.
Well, it might come back. He's like right there. He's outside it right there.
Oh. Yeah. Well, I figured D was right there, but I guess not. I just saw something. But like the lady's husband said, there's a bunch of bull crap. I took their gear. I took their gear. At the shop, I took their gear. But no, what I was saying though was the thing in Puerto Rico. It had this long, like, I don't want to call it is it proboscis would be the right word? What is it?
It's preposterous.
I need to get a dictionary. Whatever it is, it had like a tongue-like thing, and it stuck this chicken, and it was draining its blood.
Ew.
It was a chupacabra. That's what this guy said.
Sounds like it.
But his grandfather came out and they shot it, and it started flipping around, and it did this kind of like what is it? Carpenter. What's his name? The Thing. John Carpenter.
Oh yeah.
The Thing.
Kind of did this. The Thing. The way he was describing it.
Wait, like it was meshed together with something else?
No, it was just like a long, like it elongated, kind of like what Maxon's friend told me and him.
Or like the liver man from the first episode of X-Files.
I don't remember that.
He would elongate to get through the ventilation system.
Oh, okay. I think I remember that.
Yes.
It's been so long since I've seen the first episode or whatever of X-Files. But this thing, it was like it flattened itself out. And then it started like flipping around, and it looked like it was twisting and turning, and it wasn't.
That's the thing.
It was not a solid creature. Like it was, and we're seeing this with these beings. And I tell people it's simple. It's not simple, but it is. They're metaphysical, Mm-hmm. And people, they see these things all the time, and there's some weird stuff in the city. I'm telling you, there was a guy who claims he saw a 9-foot angel.
Really?
Yeah, an angel. Like he said it was an angel, and it was at a church down in Houston. I don't want to say the name of the church because it's still an active church, and I don't want to. Churches are weird. You start talking about that, and they might not like that you are talking about it because I don't know that it was an angel. It was a 9-foot tall being in a churchyard. And he said that it looked very like androgynous. You know, like he couldn't tell whether it was male or female. It had long hair, but he said it was at least 9.5 foot tall.
Was he able to interact?
I talked to him and his sister, both saw it. They just saw it standing. It was glowing. It was like it was on Christmas Eve. And he said there were all these people that were walking by it and that they didn't notice it, but him and his sister saw it. He said, but by the time they were, his wife had caught up to him because she had something in her shoe and she was walking, and they were going to a nativity scene. We'll talk about it on Sunday.
Yeah, I want to hear that.
We'll get
I
to
definitely
it on
want to hear
Sunday.
that.
And then the thing that crawled down into the storm, you know, and then we got 3 or 4 Dogman stories that we could talk about too. But yeah, that's all coming up on Sunday. You got to be here on Sunday, so you can. But I mean, you know, before we leave, though, I'd like to know what people think about this drone situation. You know, I mean, they're trying to say, well,
You already know my thoughts.
Could be that we lost a nuke. You know,
We're looking for it.
I don't know, it was in my pocket, you know, and then all of a sudden, boom, you know, the very fabric of space and time was ripped open. And then CERN came along and was like, ta-da, you know.
Put your back together.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That reminds me of the weird black demon thing attached to the goat in Third World, the Slytherin, unless some goo or mist behind. Yeah.
What is that?
There's a picture, like this black, it was not a picture, it was a video of this demon. Like it's a little chupacabra looking thing. And it was drinking the blood of this poor goat.
Aww.
Here's something for you. My great uncle years ago had left a story that I was reminded of around Christmas time by one of my cousins, and I just got the story, and I'm going to talk to her more about this because she said that he told her a story of the goat that we had, and that goat actually butted me in the head when I was a child. And I didn't know that this is how it met its demise because she blurted it out. She's like, well, that's your grandpa's goat. She's like, you know, and something drained its blood. And I'm like, what? And so I did not know that that's what happened.
So the goat that headbutted you got
Malcolm
killed by a chupacabra.
We don't know. But apparently it died from exsanguination. And then my grandfather thought better of like eating it, of course, because something had exsanguinated its blood. And so when they threw it out into the pasture, you know, to whatever, they took it away from the other animals and they laid it out in the pasture to go get rid of it. They were going to burn it. And let's say, I'll just say this, back in those days, and even now, people do it now. People out in the country burn their trash. Yeah. Yeah, and you know, it's weird how after the drones leave, all this fog shows up too. That's another weird thing, you know.
And people are catching videos of this fog, and it looks.
Well, look at what happened to us in the fog.
I know.
That's so weird. I could say this, you know, none of the animals go toward this goat. Nobody did. Nothing touched it. So when my cousin was talking about it, it was bizarre to say the least. And I thought that's weird. And so I didn't know that that's what happened to Malcolm. I just knew that he was gone. I mean, I was a little kid, and I don't remember what happened to him. But anyways, my brother's heard the story too. He wasn't there when I got headbutted, but he's heard my dad talk about it and try to tell me a different story than what my mother told me, which was conflicting versions of what happened. I don't know. My mother says it was like the goat was trying to kill me, and that it had once attacked my sister. It was a billy goat.
Well, he was just being territorial then.
Well, this thing, you know, it got loose, and it came at me. It like hunted me down, and got me up against the house.
Oh, that's
scary. But I don't remember because I was so little. But it was because it clacked me in the head, and who knows. I don't know.
Maybe he was like that little black goat on that movie, The Witch or something. Sam. Is it Black Sam?
Oh, Black Phillip.
Black Phillip.
Oh, yes. What was it, like pilgrims or something? They were like pilgrims.
Yeah. It's
Pilgrims.
like 17th century something.
Yeah. Now, Anthony, you've heard my mother's version of the Malcolm story, but I don't think have you heard my dad's version of it?
I don't think so.
Because my dad said it was the female goat that did it. But Malcolm, my mother, when she was pregnant with me, Malcolm tried to attack her. And my dad's friend, who worked there at the farm where this goat was, because my dad and them had like 10 acres. And I say farm, it was like a bunch of animals and stuff. But one of the friends, his name was Robert Turner, no relation to us. He was a black guy. But he was my dad's friend. And my mother was in the pen and was trying to feed this dickhead goat. And it got loose from where the other pen and went to where the females were. And it went straight at my mother and tried to attack her while she was pregnant with me. And Robert Turner took had to beat it with a stick, a log to get it away until my other uncle could get over there and try to help him, So it was a weird thing, dude. And then when I was like not even 2 years old, this dickhead tried to kill me. But it was crazy because that goat was a full-grown billy goat, and when it hit me in the head, according to my mother, she's like, it should have killed me.
Yeah.
But she goes, you have such a damn hard head that it just knocked you over, and you got up and you were just crying and you had a big knot on your head.
Jeez.
Did you hear what D wrote?
What do you put?
He goes Malcolm in the middle,
Headbutting for some middle.
Yeah. But read what Cryptid Commission just wrote right above that.
He says, my grandpa had a goat abducted in the next morning. He was missing its ears, but there was no blood or incision injury. Other goats were weary of it. That's weird. We get stories like that too. There was a lady, it was really her husband, who emailed me, and I'm talking to his wife because sadly, he emailed me, and by the time I got to his story, he was dying. He was of cancer. So I talked to his wife, and they were originally from Germany, and they had been here in the States since the 60s. And they lived under communism in East Germany. Very interesting lady named Greta. And Greta actually told me that their 2 dogs had gone missing, and that they were returned to them with weird incisions on their body. Took them to the vet, and there was nothing out of the ordinary wrong with the dogs.
Except for the incisions.
Except that they had incisions on them.
They had all their organs.
Everything was there, intact. And the other dogs would not go near them. They just growled at them. And she said that one of the dogs passed away in about 6 months. He just stopped eating. And then the female, they were little weenie dogs. And then the other one, they were dachshunds, lived another 3 years before she passed away.
Did she say that the dog acted any different or just act like a normal dog? And the whole 3 years, the other dog stayed away from it.
Yeah. Very weird stuff.
Its DNA was tampered with, more than likely.
I'm wondering. Well, and their story was weird because we're talking about goats. Her story, her husband's story, was about a goat man that they encountered in Bramberg, I believe, in Germany. And we were talking about, I'm sorry, Bremen. It was Bremen. But it was, anyway, I talked to them about that, and it was just, and then she says, I had this situation with my animals, and she started telling me because her husband had emailed me the story at the behest of his daughter. His daughter was born over here, But she's like, hey, you should tell him that story, but it's a goat man story. And then when I talked to his wife, after he had already passed away, she told us the dog story, which is weird. The dogs just returned, and they've been like something had operated on them.
Yeah.
And it was weird because how that you get like when there's like you'll have staples or you'll have like sutures. It was just a line, and that
it was
healed.
Like it
was already healed.
It was already healed.
A scar. And it was laser precision, according to her. So, anyways, folks, it's going to be freezing cold on Sunday. If there's no precipitation, we'll be here on Sunday. But if there is, then we may end up being trapped out at the ranch. And so we may not make it in. But I
We'll be
am
coming live
pretty
to you.
sure that we will be here on. And I have no setup out there like I did at my house to do a show. Now we have another house, but we just now got our beds. So, we're not set up over there yet. And we're living 2 different places. It's really weird.
It's far away though.
Ah,
It's far away.
it is. It is.
Someone wants a story. You know what? It's just a random story. It doesn't really match with this, but still, tell us the story about the blanket.
Okay. So tomorrow we're going to tell the story. Let me. I don't know what you would call that other one. I'm going to say. I don't want to give it away with the name, but I'm going to
Just text it,
text it to you,
and then I'll read it out
and
loud.
then we'll do the one with the And do we talk about the angel one?
Yeah. Why?
Well, because we told most of it. Wasn't that long of a story. I mean, we could give the descriptions and things. But
Yeah, we can go a little more into detail. But I just added in there. But which one? What are we talking about?
What is it with you and that blanket one?
Because it's fascinating to me. It's really fascinating.
Okay, well, it's a pretty basic story.
It's very small.
So this lady gave us a story about a woman, or what was the person that it happened to is I think she's like she's a young adult now, but when she was little, a blanket on its own wrapped around her neck and nearly unalived her. And she told us that it was like.
But it wasn't like something had a hold of the blanket. It was like it was the blanket itself.
Was doing it.
So the object was possessed. Like a doll. Like these dolls, I don't want to say the names, superstitious, but the dolls that they make movies about.
What, Five Nights at Freddy?
Or that one. That's it.
They're weird looking little dudes, man. Like I got some of those at just my friend has a store they sell stuffies at. And so I go in there, my cousin's little kids, which I guess would be my little cousins or whatever, they're into that. And so they had the Pokemon ones, and then they had Five Nights at Freddy's. And so he started pulling all the Five Nights at Freddy's ones out, and I'm like, they're weird looking little dudes, man. But it's better than the skibbity, whatever. Then I watched one of those videos at dinner the other day. My little nephew was trying to show me. I'm like, what is that?
Yeah, I could never get through
Oh,
it.
no.
No,
that's.
I'm not giving you that.
I'd rather deal with
He's
ghosties.
like, I want this for. I was like, nah, we're not a guy that pops out of the toilet. No, thank you.
So, did you see what Sailor Nemesis wrote?
What is it?
She said something similar happened to her friend. It latched onto her leg and dragged her down the hallway. It was an object.
Ugh.
An object.
Anyways, the girl that happened with the blanket, that happened in South Carolina, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was somewhere in that area.
I think it was South Carolina.
These objects are getting possessed, and they have the energy to or possessed. What if
you think that blanket itself did that though? Because I don't believe that. The way she told it was like her daughter was seeing something come out the closet.
Not so much possession as it is like, what if the energy that's out there, let's say it's not demon, it's not like all that stuff. There's some other being existing.
The blanket monster
out there. And it's like it's able to put its energy and frequency into an object and use it to manipulate it to become alive or something.
Well, yeah, I mean, isn't that what a possessed object is, really?
Well, see, but it's harboring inside. What if this is some kind of like a remote control possession, like something else is moving it? I don't know. It's...
Summer side of life. No wonder she likes the summer side of life. It's negative 26 degrees where she's at. I'd be wanting the summer side too. I'd take the 100 degrees over that any day. You know, we're over here in Texas and we're just like, it's hot. It's 102. It's horrible. We're dying over here. We don't think about the poor people up there in the north that are, it's negative 50, you know, in the wintertime.
Oh, thank you, Under Fire. Thanks, my
It gets down to 10 degrees down here, and we're like, it's horrible, which is, I mean, I don't care where you're from. 11 degrees is cold.
Yeah.
It gets down into the low double digits every year here in Texas, and people don't realize how cold it gets. And they're like, oh, yeah, well, guess what? You know, I'm frozen to death. I'm dead. Okay. Yeah, I get it. It's not a contest. I'm not messing with you, Summerside. I'm sympathizing with you. But some people act like it's a contest. They're like, yeah, last winter my arms froze off. Try not having eyeballs from the cold because I stood facing the north wind for 0.2 seconds. You don't know how good you got it, you kids nowadays with your 10 degrees. You should. We back when I was a kid, we ate 10 degrees and we liked it. And you're like, well, it's just, you know, I'm not even your father. Everything that could have fallen off me fell off from the cold. You're like, geez, really? Yes. I'm not even here. I'm in your head. You're in a straitjacket. You're in an institution. And you've been sprayed with cold water because you wouldn't shut up and the AC's going. And your wife is playing the sounds of cold rain on repeat.
You incorporated that because that's what I do.
Because that's what you do. I wake up and I'm like, God, it's cold. So
Is it
cold.
raining?
And then I'm like, and then I get the sounds of delicious ice cold rain.
Thunder and lightning, don't forget that.
Yeah. And then I get to step in pee. But you know, our whole house is covered in feces and pee.
I was wondering what your elastic. I'm sorry about that. We'll talk about that later.
I'm not even
He's
going to
gonna
get
need
into
therapy.
that. That's so funny. People say the
Anderson?
stupidest crap ever.
Oh man.
Yeah. Can I just say that one?
What?
Because there was, I'm not going to get into it, but somebody actually had the stupidity to say that the health department had to come to our house because our house was covered in pee.
I didn't read through everything, but they
poop or
released that.
something.
That
And
That's
I'm
a
like,
new one.
hilarious.
and I'm like, what? Well, I mean, it's from somebody that you would expect him. He's a big liar, but I mean, you know, they make up this, and I thought,
Ooh, that's cold.
you
Rich.
can't get the health department to come out to do anything. I mean, much less if you go, oh, those people have animals there that are pooping and peeing. Let's go.
Let's put it this way: if that was true, Truffles wouldn't be with us
Yeah, it's just crazy, dude.
because they would have taken him.
Tony. Back in my day, we had to break through mountains like it's cool. We had to fight Sasquatch, Yeti, and Bigfoot just to get to school. And then if you got through them, you had to fight Jaws and a pack of dogmen. And if you got through that, you had to fight death. And if he touched you, you died. Well, how did you make it? You don't let them touch you, dumbass. You just run around in a circle shooting with your holy water. That's just, you know, that's how you did it. And then we got to school, and then at school we got beat up by the teachers and the principal and all the kids. Yeah, some of the stuff that people say, you know, you're lucky. It's always a contest, you know. My beard froze off, and I couldn't even eat it because I was starving from no food. All I had was snow in my beard, and I ate it. It's horrible.
But you said you couldn't eat it because your teeth froze off.
Well, it doesn't matter to these people. They just say whatever so they can.
Well, make
compete,
it make sense.
They got to make it make sense, but they don't. But anyway, I don't care where you're from. 10 degrees sucks. Try walking out in that.
Rich Sykes says he was on negative 27 degrees.
Jeez.
I'll tell you this: the cold showers have gotten a lot more interesting over the last couple of weeks. Because out there at the ranch, the cold water comes out cold, like really cold, even in the summertime. And now, you know, when it's in the 40s, 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever, then you go and you take a cold shower, that water's coming out real cold. But you know what? I still do it. I swear by it, man. I can't take a hot shower now. I just can't. I've been doing this for so long. It's just Somebody said, Wolf, possible timeline on your vamp book. Got some things I got to do. It shouldn't be that much longer, but I'm not real happy with it yet. I got to it's got to get better. And it's missing something, I guess.
Crazy under fire.
But anyways, so that's it for tonight, folks. But tune in and check us out on Sunday, because Sunday is going to be real interesting. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Weird cryptid encounters in the city, and maybe a spirit or two there. I don't know. Would you guys want to do a giveaway? If your name is in green, then you're eligible to win. So
What did I miss?
Plymouth Pugwist. He's not a shower till a layer of skin is burned off. Holy crap. Chris says, anyone ever tell you stories about people jumping really high in the air in Texas? No, but I can tell you this. If the drones come to Texas, they're going to get shot.
Yeah.
Because I remember back when they first started having cameras at stoplights here in Texas.
Chris, have you?
And they were blowing them away. They were just shooting them. So, thank you, Cryptid Commission.
Thank you. Chris says he's seen him. You've seen somebody jump?
That's weird. So who has not won? We'll start with people who haven't won, and then we'll move on to people who have won. What do you got to do?
Gotta hear that story. Well, because I don't want to talk over you.
Why the hell does she keep whispering about me? Because she knows I'll slap her.
No, I just don't want to be rude.
Somebody's going to be like, there it is, with the toxic masculinity.
I don't want to be rude.
The drones were in El Paso on Christmas. Yeah, but is that really Texas? I mean,
El Paso?
I have too many exes from El Paso. That's why I don't like that city. I can't stand them.
I like driving through El Paso sometimes.
I hate El Paso and I hate people do it around me. All right? How about that? There's too many crazy people from there. I met some really cool people from El Paso, and they were all like friends, Once you date a woman from El Paso, though, you're like, ugh. And then you do it again, and you're like, ugh. And then you do it again, and you're like, why am I doing this?
Elastic.
What is wrong with my brain that I keep on? It's like Texas State, the school that you keep dating the same women from. You're like, they're all crazy. Stop dating the women from San Marcos. I had to do it. I had to tell myself, no more women from that school. No more girls from El Paso. And luckily Nellie came along and broke that. Well, she wasn't the one that broke the trend, but I got married and said, hey, we set our vows before God, and I don't regret it. The only thing I would change about Nellie is I would make her rich. I'd be like, damn it. Could just get Nellie rich, Nellie. Because then I could just have infinite amount of wealth to do research and study and not have to work and do the show full time. And I'd be on here every night. I would do this every night, 3 hours a night, just talk about this stuff. And I would have a vast array of guests and knowledge of all this, because that's all I would do. But I can't.
You see that?
Freaking work and all kinds of crap.
Chris Anderson said the person jumped straight up and disappeared. And he saw this. I believe you.
Yeah, because there's vampires. And all joking aside, no chuckle house here. I'm being serious. Because there are 3 places in Texas that vampires, I really believe they do exist. I believe they reside here, in San Antonio, and in El Paso.
No, Houston.
I don't get many stories of vampirism in Houston or in Dallas, Fort Worth area. But I do. I got maybe a little. We have to go look, Anthony. We got to go see if we can find some. Who knows? But I can tell you this: San Antonio's got its own little weird stuff.
It's not fair. It's not safe to walk out in the forest, and it's not safe to walk out in the city. You get by.
But you know what you can do? You can huddle terrified under the blankets in your room.
Then your
Mhm.
blanket will attack
And
you.
then your blanket will choke you, and then you'll have the ghosts and demons that come in and out of the walls in your house. And where are you safe? Where are you safe? You can't go up in the sky because the aliens, UFOs.
Apparently,
whatever, the
somebody could
drones.
because
You
Chris
can't go
saw
in the
it.
water because the mer creatures will get you.
No,
You can't
we're
go under
safe.
the earth because the gnomes and all the sub-natured beings there.
Gnomes live
you're-
underground.
You're only safe
Yeah.
for the period of time that this show is on. So you have to watch it. Then you're safe.
Just keep watching it on repeat.
Yeah. That's the only thing. Only way you're ever safe.
We'll keep you safe,
Yeah.
folks. Keep you safe from your own demons. Have you ever? Let me ask you a question before I go. Have you ever
Guy
stopped and
whales?
just thought that maybe like your own demons are your worst. That's what it is.
It's your own
it's
negative
your
energy?
Own negative energy, yeah, that creates the demons that attack you. I don't know.
That's crossed my mind. Actually, that's
I'm
cool.
just spitballing here. I don't know. Okay,
Tell us more.
I don't know. I can't tell you more because I don't know.
Inquiring minds want to
You
know.
young whippersnappers, I don't know. But anyways, folks, nobody wanted to win. I guess nobody.
Nobody said
Nobody
anything.
said anything.
Rich
so
actually denied it. He goes, but I don't want to win.
they're like, I hate PRT merchandise. It sucks so bad. That's why you haven't sold anything in 4 months.
Well, Cryptic Commission said that he hasn't won yet.
Oh, okay.
Well, then you won.
You won.
We do have a meeting with Seven Clay on Tuesday. We have a Zoom meeting. And after that, we hope that we will have it set up to where you guys can buy
Oh, yeah.
on-demand merchandise from Seven Clay. And then we're going to set it up with, like, I think we have, 8 other YouTube podcaster authors that are going to be joining us on that particular site. And you can go there, one-stop shop, and buy all of our gear. How does that sound? That sounds great, right? It sounds going to be awesome.
Andre hasn't. I said he wanted to win, but there's something else up here. Somebody said.
Now, the way to win, folks, is if your name is in green. It's $5.
Adam Polson, we can see you. You're not deleted.
Please undelete me from the chat. What do you mean, delete you? What are you talking about?
So,
I don't know. He thinks he's blocked from the chat for some reason.
oh no, we can see you.
He's invisible, but only when you don't look at him.
Yeah.
Adam, you're okay, man. You're not invisible. We see you. Cryptid Commission, send us your name and your address and your shirt size, and you win. Simple as that.
Yes, send us your information.
And if you are a Patreon member, we're going to do a Patreon. What's it called? Where
Paul Sinclair.
We're going to talk about the future and different ideas and people. Hey, Paul Sinclair, how you doing? But if you want to join us, if you're on Patreon and you're a Patreon member, that's the best way to help support the show too. We're going to do a special giveaway because get this, if you are a Patreon member, we're going to unveil a special, what is it called? They're kind of like those Stanley things that everybody likes.
The Stanley Cup?
Yeah, because everybody just loves the Stanley Cup. I do, but most people don't care about hockey. But what I'm talking about is those Stanley Cups, those that everybody likes. They kind of look like that, like those Yeti ones, whatever.
Yeah.
So we're about to make an order, a special order of about 100 of them. And if you're on Patreon, you automatically will get one. So go. So what happens is after your initial 60 days, you'll get that. And then the next, so is it 6 months, you get another. If you stay with it, you get another swag bag. So that will become part of it. And so we're going to unveil those. Those will be, because we did the other ones. We had them at the conference, and we ended up giving them away to the audience members. And we gave away, I believe, 200 of them. I mean, and it was they're not cheap, right?
It was fun. But can you make sure that this is one of the colors? Burnt orange.
This one here?
A burnt orange.
Is that what you want?
Burnt
no,
orange, yeah.
I'm not doing it. Absolutely not. No. We want pretty colors. I like the Longhorns as much as the next, Texas fan, but I'm not big on the color, man. I'm sorry. And if I wear the shirt, I look like a pumpkin. I'm like, hey, I'm a Longhorn fan. They're like, we thought you were a pumpkin for Halloween. What are you?
The Great Pumpkin.
And if it's black, it's all right, you know. But here you go. But Texas better play better than they did against Arizona State, or it's going to be a real long day against OSU because Ohio State ain't playing around. But Ohio State's had 2 blow. I don't think they're going to blow them out. But that's my opinion.
I need a show of hands for the burnt orange. Help me out here, paratroopers.
Well,
just so I can get one.
Orange, though.
Well, no, I'm just saying it's very similar. It looks like a
look at the difference, guys. Do you see the difference? There's a difference. What is she talking
That's
about?
tangerine. I'm just.
When the women speaks, they don't have no sense. They need to wear the burqa, go to the closet, and stay no talking. What are these women?
Oh, look at all the hands. Look.
They're just going along with you because they feel sorry for you.
Hey, I'll take it.
They know how abused she is.
Yeah.
You know, because I pull out the big old bag of drugs I'm addicted to, and I abuse you. You're like, you wait till I take these drugs. I just shove them in my mouth like I do it like this, like M&Ms. I'm like, what are these? What is this here? Oh, Klonopin mixed with Xanax mixed with what we got. Yeah. Your eyes are like, whoa. And then you're like, right to the moon, baby. That'll teach you. Meanest podcaster on earth. Talk to the hand. Keep Nelly locked up in that closet. Shut up, woman.
Oh my God, that was so.
The stuff that comes out of their little pea brains is just. Anyway. Okay. Bottom line, we're going to be giving away, and we're going to do a Patreon meeting. We're going to have a call with the people that are Patreon.
The orange will make the Hells Angels mad, Chris. Never
Well,
mind.
we definitely don't want to do that. We can't do that. We don't want the Hells Angels chasing us
I'll just
around.
get one made.
No,
and I'll
man,
hide it.
Let's not do that. Chris Anderson already said the Hells Angels will come after us. We're not doing it. Come on, guys. Any more reasons? Give me reasons. I just don't want to be killed by Hells Angels. That's all I'm saying. There's
are my
crazy
paratroopers.
gang of bikers. You don't want to be caught, messing around with the angels.
Especially don't want to mess around with the Black Widows.
Fear Dropland.
Okay, Chris is laughing. So that was a joke? So I get the orange ones or not? Clarify, Chris. Clarify. Oh my God.
Oh, machinery. Come on, man. Exactly. As Chris says, we don't want to anger the Hells Angels biker gang. There you go. Folk, we don't want to do it. Don't poke the Bear King. Okay? Don't poke the Iron Bear.
The Iron Bear King.
The Iron Bear King. When I was down there hanging out with the Iron Bear and I was dancing, I was like, hell yeah. What's a good, what do they sing?
I don't know, Ricky Martin.
We still love you, Paula.
I don't know what kind of music they listen
Live and La Vida Loca.
Oh, thank God. It was a joke. I get the burnt orange one. Chris just said it was
He's
a joke.
trying to be nice.
Thank you, Chris. And Paula, don't feel bad. It's okay. You're still a paratrooper.
Yeah, we got it on good authority that the Bear King hangs out with the Iron Bear.
No, he doesn't. I didn't write him like that.
Yeah. We got it on good authority. And he hustles drugs in Temple or some other silly shit. Wish I could just sit around all day and think of fiction. Like, let me think of what else I could write. He's in a coke-fueled rage in his underwear. Beats his wife. They're literally sitting there like in their underwear, in their trailer. Says Spooky goes, I just heard some Bigfoot out there or something like that. And just write some more crap. Because yes, they're living La Vida Loca. In my trailer outside, woo, living La Vida Loca.
Snorting up all the coca.
But hey, snorting up all the coca. And then they're like, he's not mad about being called out about hanging out the Iron Bear because I don't know what the F that is until you said it. But now I do. A very fruity place. It's a Skittles place. Taste the rainbow. But I don't want to make mad the alphabet people because then they'll be They'll be mad.
Live in Reporta Loca.
The alphabet soup. How many letters are they up to now? I know they had like a bunch of letters. I don't want to make them mad because I got a couple of them that
Probably as many as their gender.
are on
Infinite.
me, just coming at me hardcore. They're like, "You don't like me, huh? Because I'm not like you. I thought I was the weirdo that hung out at the Iron Bull. Now I'm phobic. Make up your minds. Make up your mind. They say, don't you know I'm loco?
You gotta pull the hat over your eye.
Oh yeah. Well, there's two ways to do it. You
No,
can
the
do it like
backwards.
this.
The
You can
backwards.
do it like that, like this, real low. That's Mexican. If you do it like this, that's redneck.
Wait, you don't have a beanie?
I don't have no beanie. Why the hell would I wear a beanie?
What kind of Mexican are you?
Do like
You
this.
gotta pull it lower on your eyebrows.
Yeah, man. Hey, Miss Lady Bitch, don't be talking right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm finna get mad up in here. You know, well, maybe. And you're like, and they always pulling their pants up.
Yeah.
I saw one the other day at the restaurant. He walked in, and I was like, he's a big white dude, man. Big, heavy set white dude. He's all pulling up his pants. He's walking like this.
They're always
And-
scratching their stomach.
yeah,
dude.
and then his girlfriend she looked like she was embarrassed. She was like, man, this is a bad idea having kids with this guy. I thought he was going to grow out of that Vanilla Ice shit.
Not one of my best decisions.
Yeah, she's like, I thought he was going to grow out of that bullshit, but apparently he's in it for the long haul. You know, Tommy, what's his name? Kelly Gunn. What's his name?
Who? Machine Gun
Machine Gun
Kelly?
Machine
Kelly.
Gun Kelly and Eminem and Skittle and what are the other ones? Vanilla Ice. He's from the old days, but you know, all the whatever, that whole thing.
Don't put Vanilla Ice in that. I like it.
Well, you know, they were all part of that, you know.
Was he wearing his pants like that? I don't remember that.
Yeah, he had baggy pants and
Oh,
was like
wow.
falling off his ass. I don't know. I actually met him though at the I forgot the name of the place that D used to be a bouncer at. And he was actually a cool guy. He was very down to earth. He was playing rock at that time. So he had skills. He was, you know, he didn't just do rap and be stupid. But I don't know. I think Suge Knight scared the living shit out of him. He quit playing around. Here's an interesting fact.
Okay.
Okay. I was in Las Vegas when Tupac was shot, right?
Don't believe it, but go on.
Was. And actually got talked to by the police, but they were questioning everybody that was in that area.
Uh-huh.
And then when Suge Knight got attacked, I was in L.A.
That's
True story. A guy walked into a barber shop wearing a mask, knocked him unconscious, and walked back out. Well, weird.
Very weird.
But I was not anywhere near any of Diddy's parties. I can tell you that. He's like, y'all know I didn't do none of that shit, yo. I just collect baby oil. He looks like Private Pile when he does like,
The way he has his mouth
Yeah.
drooped
I'm
open.
finna be in a world of shit. Literally. That's why I hang out. Like, I can't and his eyes are like right here. Like instead of like right here, his eyes are like right there. They're like, you see my eyes? Uh-huh. That's it. You know, That's all I hear when he starts singing. He's like, good grief, this guy, dude. And then the people are like, I was shocked at the things that he did. I was shocked at the allegations. I couldn't believe. I was like, I wasn't. Not at all.
He's
Look
looking
at that guy.
the whole time.
Tell he was a bandit. You could look at the guy. I mean, you know, he like they're playing Justin Bieber. Like, yeah, he's mine for like a week. You're like, what? Ooh, what the hell are you talking about, dude? Like, what is he saying there?
That's creepy.
And where are Bieber's parents at?
Sure.
I'd be like, get the hell away from my kid, dude. Whoop your ass, dude. Weird ass. Mm-mm.
Yeah, the way he would sit there with
Thank you, Renee.
his mouth open. I don't know, like a
Mhm.
mouth breather.
Hey, he opens his mouth and like, like you see, if you notice, like the difference between him and Kanye, people were comparing him to Kanye. I'm like, Kanye doesn't walk around with his mouth open.
Mm-hmm.
He just don't smile.
And then 50 Cent was like, look, why does he always got his mouth open? Like 50 Cent was like, man, look at this dude. He always got his mouth open. Why?
He's funny. I like
Yeah,
what he
It's just
said.
funny. Like,
He's
it's like,
funny.
dude, what's your... And everybody's like, he better be careful. I'm pretty sure 50 Cent don't give a shit. I'm pretty sure
It's the other way around.
Easy-E told Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre to blow it out their ass. There's certain people that don't give a F. Okay, I'm one of those people. People were like, "Oh, you better be careful for this guy, that guy." And who gives a F? What are you gonna do, huh?
See,
Oh, I'm crazy. I'm crazy. I got this kind of gun and that kind of gun and this gun in me. I don't give a shit what you got, dude. Okay, because to me, you ain't nothing but a bitch ass beep that ain't worth the food stamp. And at death row, I hear you getting treated like boot camp. Exactly. Don't care. There's certain people that just don't give a F and they're never going to. And you're not going to make me. It's just not going to happen. Yeah, DMX. I can tell you right now, man, like I've worked with a lot of rappers. I've worked with a lot of different people. You know, I've done bodyguard work. I know a lot. I actually know quite a few famous people. And I don't even talk about it on the show. I do not bring it up. I'm not trying to name drop and all that.
Well, some things you can't.
Yeah, there's some things I can't. But I can say this. I've met some real people. I've met some real haters, and I've read some real sorry people. And real is real. That's it. So, I don't know. Anyways, folks, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being what makes PRT great, the audience.
Yes.
Because without you, I'm just a guy up here rambling away.
Talking to us, and that's pretty boring.
I'll be in my straight jacket. I was a Mothman up on the building. I was, whoa, what? Oh, no, Doc Man, you're not doing that to me today.
Man, you gonna fly, baby.
Hey, sir. Oh, yeah. Oh, you can fly, baby.
I love it.
That's it. That's what you got. So, but with you, we actually have something good. We have a show and we have fun. Right? See that? Look at that. Look at those pecs. Look at that. You wish you had that, don't you? That's why you
sexy
so
for
much.
my shirt. Too sexy for my shirt.
Too sexy. It hurts. And you know they're looking at me. They're just like
Drooling.
I hate him. I hate him so bad. Mom, he's doing it again. He's making me feel weird.
Oh, you made me so mad.
I'm vacuuming my room. You know what it is. I mean, that's what it is. And then they put a picture up there. And then they put a picture of it's 40 pounds overweight, you know. Let's put a picture. Let's put that picture. Well, you know what? I can lose weight. I'm doing it. I've done it. And you're still ugly. That's the thing, right? You're still ugly and you're not going to change.
You see what Maddie wrote? She saw actually Nelly and Anthony aren't real. They're holograms with his talking to himself.
I'm talking to myself.
Yeah.
Just a crazy man talking to himself. Anyways, we had a lot of fun. Sunday, we're going to do it, though, man. We have story after story after story. Bada bing, bada boom. We're going to talk. We're going to do. We got to do what we got to do. And nobody wanted to win, I guess, tonight.
No,
So,
we had two.
well, if you did, send us your information, your shirt size. I know Cryptid commissioned one. Send us your address, and we'll send you something.
Yes.
And be ready, because if you're a Patreon member, in that next swag bag, you're going to get a really cool gift. That's only available through the Patreon members. Only Patreon members will get these. We're going to make 100 of them, and we're going to give them to Patreon members. So if you're a Patreon, check it out, man. Check it out. All right. Thank you, guys. We love you. And
Thank you for being here. I had a great time with
we
you
had
guys.
fun tonight.
Comments
We
was
always-
funny. Chat was great.
The live shows are fun. I actually enjoy making the pre-records. Like, I enjoy talking and just, it's an hour of just straight up info, but I love the live streams because we have fun.
Yeah. I love
joke.
the live stream.
It's funny because I was talking to some guy the other day. I said some guy. Brian is a nice guy. He's been a friend of the show for a long time. He has never watched one live stream. And John, what's his name? John, he's the one that gave us one of those stories about the I bought the book collection from him when we went to the bull ride.
Oh, yes. Bankhead.
Bankhead, John Bankhead. who does not watch the live streams. He's a big fan, but he only listens to the podcast episodes, whatever. But John Bankhead, and he gave me a story. I told it on the show.
Yeah, I haven't heard from him. Have
I
you?
haven't heard from him in a while, but he never watches the live stream. But he is big, and so and when you talk to some of these people, they're like, "Oh man, we love the show. You're funny. It's informative, whatever." But they don't watch the live stream, and so they think I'm funny based on what they hear on the
Pre-record.
yeah, the pre-records. I was like, dude, you have fun on the live stream if you think that's fun. So anyway.
Anyway. That was fun. Glad I made it.